last person to see Alexander's father before he went missing. On Monday, his father went berry picking in Okeechobee County, but never came back. Today, you have the chance to get a look at your students' COVID-conscious classrooms. Lee School administrators are running 4 tours of Paul Lawrence Dunbar Middle School. There's plastic at the front desk, spacing between student desk and one-way stairwells, and they're just some of the safety changes made for the pandemic. Today's tours will happen every 15 minutes, starting at 10 a.m. This morning, the man accused of killing 2 sisters will face a judge for the first time. 53-year-old Cesare Bartnicki of Naples is facing charges after a crash that killed Janet and Ann Wilson just months ago. He also faces a hit-and-run charge for leaving the state after getting out of the hospital. More good news for Florida in the fight against coronavirus. The state has now a 14-day streak reporting testing positivity rates lower than 10%. Yesterday's percentage was 5.72%, and that's another decrease from Tuesday's 7.49%. Multiple USF students are suspended this morning after throwing large parties. No one can live on campus or attend class until their student conduct cases have been resolved. The university has a zero-tolerance policy. I'm Corey Lazar, Wink News Now.
Wink News traffic.
Good Thursday morning. There's a crash in North Fort Myers at Knoll Road and Quail Run that is causing complete roadblock. You cannot pass through this intersection as of right now. Also, a hit-and-run crash at Miramar Road and Palm Beach Boulevard in Fort Myers, as well as a crash reported at Sable Springs Boulevard and North Tamiami Trail. Off and on slowdowns on North Tamiami heading towards Del Prado Boulevard. That's your up-to-the-minute traffic. I'm Sabrina Katz. Wink News now.
Wink Weather Authority.
Stay cool this afternoon, 93 degrees, heat index over 100, as we will see afternoon and evening pop-up scattered rain and storms to try to cool you down. With Wink News, I'm meteorologist Matt Devitt, Weather Authority.
Wink News at the top and bottom of the hour. Serving up a tray load of truth today on 92.5 Fox News. News and smart views.
Get the best sleep of your life. Helix makes personalized mattresses to fit your unique body type and sleep preferences. Go to helixsleep.com and get up to $200 off mattress orders.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Summer is in full swing, and my friends Jason and Todd with the Diamond District are continuing to liquidate the largest selection of GIA and Forevermark loose certified diamonds, engagement rings, and fashionable diamond jewelry.
Hey, this is Papa with Casey, Carrie, and Cody. And as most of you know, when Irma hit in September of 2017, thousands of people tried unsuccessfully to call a roofing company, but all the roofers were so overwhelmed they could not handle or even answer those calls. Now here we are, almost 3 years later, and many of those same people are still waiting to have their roofs repaired. So we are implementing our proactive list. If you want to be on our list, call me for our free tolerance inspection. Once we inspect your roof, you will be on the proactive list. If or when the next storm hits, you will have no need to call any roofer because we will be calling you automatically to see if you need help. We can offer emergency repairs and tarp service or whatever your roof requires. Call Papa now for our free tolerance inspection, 945-2700. We believe it's wise to be proactive and it costs you nothing to join our list. Call Papa for our free tolerance inspection at 945-2700. That's 945-2700, area code 239-945-2700. License number CCC 1331790.
And now a game of commercial chicken, brought to you by Progressive, where we see how long Flo can go without talking about insurance. Ready? Go.
So, traffic has been crazy lately, right? And rush hour? Forget it. Nobody wants to let you merge onto the highway. But hey, somebody let you merge or you wouldn't be there, so drivers who switch to Progressive could save big.
Okay, you win. We can't help but save customers money. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
At Fisher Investments, we do things differently, and other money managers don't understand why.
Because our way works great for us.
But it may not work for your clients. That's why Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, obligated to put clients first. It's the highest standard for a financial advisor.
So, what do you provide? Cookie-cutter portfolios like the rest of us?
No cookie-cutter portfolios here. Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to meet each client's goals and needs.
But you do sell investments that earn you high commissions, right? And make commissions when you make trades for your clients?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission investment products, and we never earn commissions on trades.
So what's in it for you?
Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when our clients do better. When it comes to helping clients achieve a comfortable retirement, we're clearly different. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
From 92.5 Fox News,
It's the stuff Southwest Florida is talking about.
it's Daybreak. Now, here's the guy at the epicenter of what's important to those of us who live in Southwest Florida. Drew Steve.
Well, good morning, Southwest Florida. Glad you're here. 239-479-5592 is the Tri-Town Construction Talk and Text line. We stream live on YouTube every day at Drew Steele Radio, Steele with 3 E's. And while you're there, please subscribe to the channel. We always appreciate you watching, whether you're on Facebook or on YouTube. Keeping an eye on Hurricane Laura, now a Category 2 storm after making landfall at about 1 a.m. this morning near Cameron, Louisiana. Speeds topping off at 150 miles an hour, and just prayers for the folks that are there in that area. Lake Charles, downtown, affected pretty bad, and we're going to get more details, obviously, as this storm moves through. It's moving pretty fast, and keeping an eye on what is happening along the Louisiana and Texas coast, those that were ordered to evacuate. And we'll continue to have updates throughout the morning, and then as we get later on into the afternoon, certainly, once the sunrise is there, we'll start to hear about and see more of the damage in the area. But certainly, we can only imagine. But a Cat making landfall as a Cat 4, and now as a Cat 2 making its way past Lake Charles, landfall at Cameron, and then going through up to and certainly through areas where there will be issues of flooding, and there certainly will still be issues of this hurricane making its way well inland. So we'll keep an eye on that story as the morning progresses. Also, would love to hear from you with regard to day 3 of the RNC in the books. Tonight, the President of the United States has an opportunity to speak. Looking forward to that, certainly. So with the Democrats, from what I understand, sending Kamala Harris to respond to the president's remarks tonight. That ought to be good. The vice president had a chance to speak yesterday as Mike Pence officially accepting his nomination for vice president. And it is interesting, a couple of things that the Republican Party is doing this year. And one of the things has certainly been, and we talked about Michael Goodwin yesterday in the New York Post, talking about the GOP's opportunity to reach out to the black community. And certainly we see that more as we understand that as Americans, the opportunity that this president has given all Americans, everybody, and the tangible evidence of that we were able to witness before the pandemic, you can't deny it. And I think more and more Democrats realize what is happening. But to what degree are they willing to go to ensure that the election will be theirs come November 3rd? Well, you get ready, because coming up at 8 o'clock this morning, we are going to be joined by David Rivkin Jr. David Rivkin Jr., along with Lee Casey, had a Wall Street Journal opinion piece yesterday that, let's just put it this way, mind blown. If you have ever thought to yourself, why is it that the Democrat Party right now has been pushing and pushing mail-in voting, pushing and pushing this conspiracy theory of the United States Postal Service and what the president is trying to do by manipulating the Postal Service, and how votes will not be counted, and how ridiculous all of this is when we know that we, to secure the election, want to make sure that we have in-person voting that will be safe and secure, and it certainly will be. We see the the way that we all go to places like Starbucks and Publix, and we're all out each and every day, we're able to ensure safety in these locations. You're telling me that we can't social distance and do everything the right way in polling places? Of course we can. So why is it that Democrats are pushing this so hard? This is disturbing. It is chaos that could be delivered on Election Day, and maybe not the way you believe. Let me just read the first paragraph of this Wall Street Journal opinion piece before we get to the audio coming up next on the RNC from yesterday, day 3, another great day for the party. If the 2000 election provoked a constitutional crisis, the 2021 is flirting with disaster. Debate over voting by mail is focused mostly on the potential for fraud and logistical difficulties, but there are also legal problems with it which carry the seeds of chaos before Inauguration Day and continuing instability after. What? What does that look like? And David Rifkin is going to join us at 8 o'clock this morning. And I'm going to take time with him to break this down. This Wall Street Journal opinion piece, I would encourage you to read it if you have the opportunity. I would encourage you to tune in at 8 o'clock this morning to hear this, because if you're trying to figure out how Democrats can continue to talk about mail-in voting and the Postal Service and all this drama, knowing that, look, by November 3rd, we're going to have a president. We're going to have an election. We know that by December 14th, we're going to have electors chosen on that day, and they're going to have to decide who the president and vice president is. And by January 20th, Inauguration Day, we're going to have this all play out. Unless something were happening behind the scenes in such a nefarious way that I can't even explain it to you in 5 or 10 minutes. I have to have him explain this. So David Rifkin's going to join us this morning at 8 o'clock. And I do not want you to miss this, because I can't even believe that this is possibly on the way. Having said that, part of the reason why is because of the message from the RNC, because of the message of those that have been able to speak, because of the positive message that we had a chance to witness in the past 3 days. We've had our friend Burgess Owens. Burgess Owens has been on this program a couple of times. He is somebody who is running in District 4, the 4th Congressional District in Utah. Happens to be the district that I was living in at the time, living in Utah. I had a chance to visit and meet with Burgess Owens a few times. You probably know Burgess Owens as a former national football player, but a businessman, and had an opportunity to speak again yesterday with a positive message, and one that I think speaks volumes to many, many individuals about what kind of opportunity this country affords us and what is at stake in this election.
We have a Democratic candidate for president who says that I'm not black if I don't vote for him. Now more than ever, we need leaders who stand by their principles and won't compromise their values for political opportunities. Now more than ever, we need leaders who will stand up to the lawlessness supported by the radical left. This November, we have an opportunity to reject the mob mentality and once again be the America that my great-great-grandfather believed in. During the Trump administration, business ownership among blacks, Hispanics, and females have reached all-time highs. Those same groups enjoyed record-low unemployment and unprecedented prosperity, and we're just getting started. I'm running for Congress because we don't need more career politicians. We need a few more chimney sweeps. We need more leaders like President Trump who understand the freedoms that make up the fabric of America. My fellow Americans, specifically my Democrat and independent friends, it is now time for us to unite and put aside partisan barriers. Help us win back the House, keep the Senate, and give our president 4 more years, and I promise you, we will make you proud. Thank you.
And that point to me is important, that there's an opportunity here to win back the House, hopefully, and have the Senate and allow this president to do what he was capable of doing. I mean, think about this. This president, what he was capable of doing for every American, everybody across the board before the pandemic hit, what he was able to do under the duress that he was under since day one, even before he took office, with the impeachment hoax that happened, by the way, in February. Anybody notice how not one single Democrat on that stage last week talked about the impeachment of the president of the United States in February? Did anybody notice that? Do you wonder why? Why is it? Why is it that not one single Democrat talked about the impeachment? Because of what a political disaster it was. See, Democrats will talk about the things that they feel are politically expedient. If it's not, move it aside. Find the thing that you can find. Now, if you're listening to me saying that and you're like, that's a joke, that you can't be serious. That's an outrage. How dare you say something like that? Can you even prove it? Yeah, I can. Let me give you this little snippet, this little ditty, if you will, with Fredo and Don the Lemon yesterday. After the second night of the RNC, as they were talking about it before the finish of yesterday. And what did they say with regards to the riots on the streets, what is happening across the country, the rioting and the looting and the destruction that we know is happening that is supported by Democrats? It's certainly not something that they are calling out and trying to stop. If they were, then the president would not have to bring in federal law enforcement to stop some of the rioting and looting that's happening in places like Kenosha, Wisconsin, and other areas. And so what did Don the Lemon say to Fredo just the other day?
I do think that what you said, what's happening in Kenosha, is a Rorschach test for the entire country. And I think this is a blind spot for Democrats.
What do you mean? What are you trying to say?
I think Democrats are ignoring this problem or hoping that it will go away. And it's not going to go away. And so, unless someone comes up with a solution over the next 73 days or 70, however many days.
68 days.
68 days.
Come on, get it right.
So it's not going to, the problem is not going to be fixed by then. But what they can do, and I think maybe Joe Biden may be afraid to do it.
Afraid to do what? What is he afraid to do?
I'm not sure. Maybe he won't. Yeah. Maybe he is. He's got to address it. He's got to come out and talk about it.
He's got to come out and talk about it. He's got to address it. Because even Don the Lemon and Fredo understand that the Democrats, every time people see law and order going by the wayside on the streets of an American city, no matter where it is, they see Democrats. They see Democrat cities. They see Democrat politicians that are sitting back and allowing it to happen and not stopping it. They see presidential candidates like Joe Biden and presidential candidates like Kamala Harris saying absolutely, positively nothing.
Not a joke.
Not a joke. They see this. And what he's saying is, listen, this has to stop. Why? Because it's going to hurt Joe Biden in the polls. Because it's not politically expedient. Again, it goes back to what I said before. You have Burgess Owens and others. You had an incredible moment with Madison Cawthorn, a GOP congressional candidate. Likely could be the youngest person ever elected to Congress. An impassioned speech, 25 years of age. Paralyzed and wheelchair bound after a car accident at age 18. And wait till you hear what he said and what he did yesterday. That was condemned by the left. Condemned? What did he possibly do and say? Wait till you find out. But when you hear Madison Cawthorn and Burgess Owens and others who are talking about how great the country is and the opportunity and all the things that this president can bring. And then you see the rioting and looting and destruction on the streets of Democrat-led major metropolitan cities across the country, and nothing is being stopped. Sooner or later, Democrats look at this, not as anything more than, is this politically expedient? The impeachment happened in February. Why are we not talking about it? Because it's not politically expedient for Democrats. Because politically speaking, which is what it was all about, it was a failure, an abysmal failure, and they know it. That's why you don't hear anybody talking about it. And for Democrats now, they're going to have to make a very big decision. The truth of the matter is that if you are someone of conviction, if you're somebody who lives your life with law and order and believes in it, believes in the Constitution, is a person of faith, lives your faith, and is someone who speaks about the country positively and has that about their character, then you never have anything to worry about. Because it flows naturally. You don't have to fake it. You don't have to hide it. It's like when I joke with Jake, and I've talked to you about this before, how I just don't cuss. I'm not that guy. I just don't do it. And sometimes it drives people crazy that I don't do it, but I never have to worry about an open mic and saying anything wrong over an open mic or in any company, in any place that I'm at, and worry about the language. And look, that's just me. I'm not suggesting that you should, look, you do what you do. I'm not suggesting that anything other than for me personally, this is just who I am. And so I never worry about that kind of thing. It's the same thing when you have convictions, love for the country and the belief in our founding. When you are the opposite of that, it's all about political expedience. It's all about visually what people see. And then you have to figure out how to fake it, to make it. Wasn't that a movie or something? Fake it to make it? Or was that a song? I don't know. Jake knows. Jake loves those millennial movies. Thought there was something.
As far as I know, that's how the majority of people in my generation live their life.
Is what, fake it to make it? Is that what they're doing?
As far as I can tell.
It's not good. And I hate to laugh about it. But I will leave you before we go to break with this example. And let me see if I can find it, because I think this is the kind of thing that speaks volumes to what we're talking about right now. And it's this, that sooner or later, you're going to find that there are individuals that, as we talk about this, see the same thing that you and I see. That it is tangible, it's real. And C-SPAN has this little thing that they're doing after the RNC, taking phone numbers from Republicans, taking calls from Republicans, Democrats, Independents on C-SPAN and saying, hey, what did you think?
Let's go to John in Orlando, a Democrat. Hi, John.
How are you?
How are you?
Doing well. I'm a lifelong Democrat. My family comes from the Kennedy Democrats, and I will be voting for Trump this election.
Why?
Well, I've been embedded through my teachings of social justice, and one of the biggest, movements for social justice is the educational system. And I really support, what's really got me leaning towards Trump is school choice.
A lot of that going on. A lot of those types of calls happening on C-SPAN. I've got even more of them. Do the American people see what you and I see? And I think they do. And the more they hear speeches like from Madison Cawthorn, which we're going to hear, and Burgess Owens, and the vice president yesterday, John Pence, will join us coming up at 7 o'clock. We'll even talk about the speech of the vice president and more from the party. But make no mistake about this. Democrats are going to have to find a very creative way to change all of this. And I think they believe they have it. And that's what we're going to talk about at 8 o'clock in this mail-in voting chaos that's coming. Wait till you hear this. All right, let's take a break. And we'll talk about that more. 239-479-5592, the Tri-Town Construction Talk and Text line, streaming live on YouTube anytime you want to watch at Drew Steele Radio. It is Daybreak 92.5 Fox News, right all along.
This is 92.5 Fox News.
This Fox Business Report is presented by Gulf Shore Business Magazine, online at gulfshorebusiness.com.
I'm Maria Bartiromo, and this is the Fox Business Report. Facebook pushes back on Apple's new iPhone privacy rules, saying they will cripple online advertising. Apple will soon require apps like Facebook to ask users for permission to collect data and let ads follow them around. The White House mulling over whether it can take executive action to keep airlines from furloughing thousands of workers in October. Ford teams up with German auto parts maker Bosch and real estate company Bedrock to test technology that will let vehicles park themselves in urban parking decks. And a record-breaking day on Wall Street as more data points to an economic recovery and tech shares continue their rally. The S&P 500 and NASDAQ closing at record highs. The Dow gained 83 points. I'm Carmen Roberts. That's your Fox Business Report, invested in you.
Few know Kamala Harris's radical record with her attacks on gun rights and religious freedom, her backing of socialist programs, abortion, and the cancel culture. Newsmax TV's new primetime show with Grant Stinchfield exposes Kamala Harris. Tune into Stinchfield at 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. Find Newsmax TV on major cable systems or get Newsmax free on Roku, YouTube, Xumo, Pluto, Apple TV, Chromecast, Amazon Fire, smart TVs, and more. You can even download the free Newsmax TV app from your phone and start watching now.
More delightful than driving a convertible Bentley while wearing mink underpants. 92.5 Fox News. Right all along.
Listen up, men. I know you don't want to talk about ED. It's not going to go away, so stop ignoring it. Good news for all of us. Metro Men's Health makes getting the treatment you need easy, pain-free, drug-free, and affordable. While many places use pills or injections to treat ED, that's just a temporary fix and ruins that special moment. And while testosterone treatments can boost your energy, they don't fix ED. Metro Men's Health takes a different approach. They use the most state-of-the-art technologies and treatments that improves blood flow, which is really the source of the problem. There's no discomfort, and Metro Men's Health treatments don't just mask symptoms. They treat the condition. No painful shots, no hormones, no pills, just an easy and convenient treatment that actually works. If you don't see improvement, they'll give you a full refund. You've got nothing to lose and a lot to gain. Put that spark back in your life. Call 239-599-9900 to schedule a free consultation. That's 239-599-9900 or visit metromenshealth.com. Metro Men's Health.
Water is life in Southwest Florida. It drives our economy from tourism to fishing to boating and quality of life. This is Adam Botana from Baywater Exclusive Boat Club, and we talk water for an hour every weekend on Fox News Radio. We feature guests on water quality, water safety, and water fun, including great boating day trips and tips on fishing. Join us this Saturday at 7 a.m. for the Baywater Exclusive Boat Club Hour with Adam Botana on 92.5 Fox News.
You should be driving a Kia from Galliana. Galliana Kia.
Why? Why pay more for a used car or truck when Galliana Kia in Fort Myers can sell you a new car for less? 2020 Kia Forte LXS lease, just $49 per month. That's right, a new car for just $49 per month. 2020 Kia Rio, just $13,990. Yes, $13,990. Worried about your credit? Don't sweat it. Galliana Kia has lenders to get almost anyone approved. Plus, we'll take any trade, in any condition, even if you're upside down. Why? Why buy an overpriced used car when you can buy a new car for less? Brand new Kias, just $49 per month.
You should be driving a Kia from Galliana. Galliana Kia.
At Galliana Kia, 1/2 mile south of Daniels Parkway on US 41 in Fort Myers. Open every day, including Sunday. Call 239-481-2600. GallianaCars.com. 24 months, 12,000 miles per year, $39.99 with sign plus tax title dealer and acquisition. Zero security deposit with lender approval expires Monday.
Hi everyone, it's me, Drew Barrymore. I have a new daytime show premiering this fall, and we are going to explore all sorts of things together. We can share news, lift each other up, be a little naughty, cry, laugh, eat, cry again, and then laugh, and then maybe cry again or eat. Let's do this. Who's with me?
The Drew Barrymore Show, coming to daytime.
I can't hear you.
Drew Barrymore, coming soon to Wink TV Afternoons.
Hi there, I'm Dr. Svetlana Kogan, a board-certified internal medicine concierge physician on 5th Avenue South. Almost 2 decades of clinical experience in New York taught me a lot about doctoring. My philosophy is that less medication is better. I prescribe healthy lifestyle, good food, and exercise to heal and prevent most of the health concerns. I teach my patients how to use herbs, vitamins, and supplements properly, and spend a great deal of time with each of my patients, empowering them with mind-body balancing steps to prevent illness and avoid hospitalization. If you're looking for an experienced doctor who is knowledgeable in holistic approach to health, check out my website, customlongevity.com. That's customlongevity.com to learn how becoming a part of my patient family can make you healthy and joyful again.
It's Fred Kobe with your Kobe Cooling tip for the day. When you call us at 239-482-1542, what you'll get is a warm reception. We'll send out a real NATE-certified expert mechanic who will treat you and your time with respect. Our team will help to inform you of the situation and correct any issues that we find. Our goal is to make sure your experience with our team is a pleasant one, and we work very hard every day to meet that goal. Kobe is who we are, and cooling is what we do. But we also know we're nothing without you. Thank you, Southwest Florida, for almost 70 years of trust in our family. When you think of air conditioning companies, we hope you'll think of Kobe Cooling. No nonsense and no pressure. We're the company your neighbors use. License CACO 57313. Kobe, the most trusted name in the business since 1949, serving local Southwest Florida families for almost 70 years.
Now, this is a Wink News update.
I'm Corey Lazar with Wink News. A 91-year-old Lee County woman injured after being aggressively handcuffed for running a stop sign. A deputy tried to pull the woman over. She didn't stop, assuming the flashing lights were for someone else. She says the deputy left her burned, bruised, and bloodied. That deputy is now being investigated while on paid administrative leave. Cincinnati Bengals cornerback Mackenzie Alexander, jailed for beating a man connected to the disappearance of his father, is now out of jail this morning. The Immokalee native is facing charges for punching that man, who was the last person to see Alexander's father before he went missing. On Monday, his father went berry picking in Okeechobee County, but never came back. Today, you have the chance to get a look at your students' COVID-conscious classrooms. Lee school administrators are running 4 tours of Paul Lawrence Dunbar Middle School. There's plastic at the front desk, spacing between student desk and one-way stairwells, and they're just some of the safety changes made for the pandemic. Today's tours will happen every 15 minutes, starting at 10 a.m. This morning, the man accused of killing 2 sisters will face a judge for the first time. 53-year-old Cesare Bartnicki of Naples is facing charges after a crash that killed Janet and Ann Wilson just months ago. He also faces a hit-and-run charge for leaving the state after getting out of the hospital. More good news for Florida in the fight against coronavirus. The state has now a 14-day streak reporting testing positivity rates lower than 10%. Yesterday's percentage was 5.72%, and that's another decrease from Tuesday's 7.49%. Multiple USF students are suspended this morning after throwing large parties. No one can live on campus or attend class until their student conduct cases have been resolved. The university has a zero-tolerance policy. I'm Corey Lazar, Wink News Now.
Wink News traffic.
The crash in North Fort Myers at Knoll Road and Quail Run is causing complete roadblock at the intersection, so a place to avoid this morning. Also a crash in Fort Myers at Miramar Road and Palm Beach Boulevard. Off and on slowdowns eastbound towards the interstate. If you're in the Cape, it is congested southbound on Country Club heading south of Veterans. Also a delay in North Cape on Nelson Road to Diplomat Parkway. That's your up-to-the-minute traffic. I'm Sabrina Katz. Wink News next.
Wink Weather Authority.
Stay cool this afternoon. 93 degrees, heat index over 100, as we will see afternoon and evening pop-up scattered rain and storms to try to cool you down. With Wink News, I'm meteorologist Matt Devitt, Weather Authority.
Wink News at the top and bottom of the hour.
When your liberal relatives from up north come for a month, turn up 92.5 Fox News in the house, in the car, and on the radio at the beach. 92.5 Fox News. Run all along.
We believe in better. A better way to invest, a better way to serve you, and a better result. We can help you determine how much risk you're taking, red flags that could be potential problems for you, how much you're paying in fees or commissions, potential tax liability, or even how to address Social Security.
Tune into WealthWorks Radio with Eric Carney, Saturdays at 6 a.m., Sundays at 9 a.m., right here on 92.5 Fox News Radio.
Hey guys, Dr. Amy here, your favorite chiropractor. We're back for your daily dose of Did You Know Chiropractic can help with that. This week's theme is energy and sleep. And right now, a lot of people are dealing with massive amounts of stress stress and anxiety. And when that happens, it will actually cause specifically the top part of your neck to go out of alignment. That is a stress response in your spine. So when you're feeling stressed or anxious about maybe what's going on in the world today, that can actually cause your spine to go out of position. And specifically at the very top, that bone surrounds and protects the part of your brain that controls your circadian rhythm and your ability to fall asleep and stay asleep and get quality sleep. So if that's you, you're out there and you're dealing with a ton of stress and a ton of anxiety, and you want to know if there's anything to do naturally to be able to fix it, it could be as simple as getting your spine adjusted. Call us at 239-628-4899, and always remember, your power is on.
Home is truly where the heart is. To protect it, you need top quality roofing installed by experts. That's why we chose CFS Roofing Services. Now my home's weather-tight and beautifully resilient.
New roof leak from old Hurricane Irma damage? Insurance claim deadline is September 9th. Call CFS now for a free roof analysis. 561-2600 or cfsroofing.com. I'm David Crowther, and I approve this message.
Hi, this is Dr. Ben Carson for My Faith Votes. What better way to influence our culture than by voting for leaders who will support biblical principles and protect our religious freedom? Fellow believers, in November, do not abandon your civic duty as a Christian to cast your vote. When making your decision on whom to vote for, I urge you to look carefully at the platforms of each candidate and put them up against the Bible. For more information on candidates and their positions, visit myfaithvotes.org today.
Has the little blue pill let you down? Our expert medical staff at mymensclinic.com can and will help. Guys, if you're suffering from ED, we can fix it. Even if you've tried Viagra and other drugs and they've failed you, we will help. Studies have shown that we offer the most effective non-surgical treatments for ED, even if you have other medical conditions. They're generally no problem. We know that hearing "we can try again next weekend" is tough. When what you want to hear is wow, we at mymensclinic.com have helped thousands of men just like you, thousands more nationally. We can make one simple guarantee, and we do. See our licensed medical staff. If we can't show you positive results during that first appointment, that appointment is free. Guys, let's get the wow back in the bedroom. Guys, let's book online at mymensclinic.com or call 239-307-0125. That's 239-307-0125. Again, mymensclinic.com.
When the unexpected comes calling, bounce forward with Comcast Business. Bounce forward fast with internet speeds of up to a gig. Bounce forward on a network that helps keep connected devices protected. To learn more, go to ComcastBusiness.com.
It's been a few months since you hired a lawyer for your injury case. You hired that lawyer without much thought or research. An ad that caught your eye. A friend told you about them. Or worse, they called you, which could have them disbarred if they were caught. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. And now you realized you made a huge mistake by hiring the wrong lawyer. Your gut tells you your case is worth way more, but your lawyer's trying to cram a settlement offer down your throat because they need the money more than you do. And then you go to forthepeople.com and see offers made and rejected and our jury verdicts. Hundreds of them. You got to see what your case should really be worth. Here's the thing. Just because you hired a lawyer doesn't mean you can't fire that lawyer. People call us every day doing exactly that, and it won't cost you 1 penny more. You only have 1 day in court. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Dial pound law on your cell. Pound law, that's all.
Offices, Fort Myers and Naples.
This is 92.5 Fox News.
All right, it's Daybreak, 92.5 Fox News, 239-479-5592, the Tri-Town Construction Talk and Text line. Want to remind you, coming up at 6:50 and 7:50 every morning, Drew's College of Political Knowledge, 4 questions on politics. The more you get right, the higher the degree. We will see if you earn a PhD. That's coming up. We'll have a little bit of fun with that on the way. More audio from the RNC from yesterday. But yesterday, I did have a chance to speak with Parkland father Andrew Pollack. You know that he spoke at the RNC on opening night, talked about the president and how he is the key to school safety. You know that it was Andrew Pollack's daughter, Meadow, who was killed in the February 14th, 2018 attack on Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. And I had a chance to speak to him yesterday because I wanted to ask more about school safety, about what he thinks about the president. And I wanted him to speak to us this morning to articulate more what happened that day, some of the other things that we need to recognize that are going on in the state, and how, as we move forward in this election, what Democrats are not willing to do and bring back some of the restorative justice and how that has to be stopped. And so I asked, what about that restorative justice, and maybe to explain more about some of the things that have happened before and are going on right now in the state of Florida when it comes to school safety?
Well, for me, it was so important because so many parents now know what's at stake and what the Democrats started in this country under Obama-Biden administration. They put these policies, what we call them restorative justice, okay, and what it was, and it was pioneered in Broward and then forced into public schools throughout the country. So I'm going to give you an example. When my daughter was a senior, children in Broward County were allowed 4 misdemeanors per school year without ever getting introduced to law enforcement at the school. So if the student sold drugs, assaulted a teacher, assaulted a student, robbed an iPhone, they would just put them into like a group healing session. And that's the gist of it, really, without any accountability. Now, nobody wants to hurt a child and make it that they can't be successful in life. But what these policies do is, by not showing them accountability, it sets them up for failure. And it lets students who are problemed and troubled or just sick in the head slip through the cracks. And that's what happened in Broward. The media didn't want to cover that story. They just wanted to jump on our Second Amendment rights, and it was the gun.
Right.
But there were so many failures that they didn't want to cover, and I did it myself. You know, I looked into what happened. There was a commission. You guys are in Florida. The governor at that time, Rick Scott, formed a commission to look into all these failures.
Yeah.
And the biggest failure was those policies that let kids get multiple bites of the apple at crime without ever being held accountable.
Right.
This kid threatened to shoot the school up before. You know, he threatened to shoot people. He threatened to rape people. He carved swastikas into tables. He threw chairs at students, teachers. Never arrested. You know, never Baker acted for drinking gasoline and trying to kill himself or skinning animals in his backyard. All these things went undetected because of these policies. And what's at stake now? So the president rescinded those type of policies that were forced into the public schools.
Right.
That meant, like I said, it was so important. It meant the world to me when the president did that, because I knew that was the leading factor. It wasn't, you know, there was a lot of failures, but that was one of the main reasons that this animal was able to slip through the cracks and be able to purchase a gun and never been held accountable in all his years of going to the public school system.
Right.
President rescinded it.
Yeah.
And if any parent is listening, I'm telling you, I know it's a fact, Biden wants to reintroduce those policies back into all the schools, and they want to make it like end the school to prison pipeline. But what it actually does, what they can't get through their mentally challenged heads, these Democrats, is it actually sets kids up to go from the school to prison pipeline, because if you don't show kids accountability when they're minors, then you don't set them up for success.
Right.
Then when they get older, they think, oh, well, then they're 19 and they commit a crime. Now you're getting arrested and you are going to jail.
Right.
But if you catch them when they're younger and you teach them a lesson and you give them a good slap on the wrist and you point them in the right direction, you're going to set most of them up for success.
Right.
But they don't know how to do it that way.
Right.
So a couple of things I didn't get to touch on at the convention. That one was the most important to me. So I don't have a half hour to talk. So
right.
I hit that one. The restorative justice programs, Biden is going to bring them back into the public school systems. I guarantee it. That's one. Number two, Democrats are okay with removing police officers from schools. It's happening in major cities, okay? And they're okay with it, taking the police out, because the police they say the police are racist. I support the police, even though a few of them let my daughter get murdered and didn't go in the building. I support police. The men and women that put that uniform on, I respect them. We need them in the schools to protect our children. And a lot of them are there to mentor these kids that are troubled. You know, they don't want to see them fail. They're there to help. The Democrats are ready to pull. They're already starting to take police out of the schools.
Yeah.
Number 3, which is a very important in this election, is school choice. Your show's in Florida. We're doing a wonderful job. You got a Commissioner Corcoran for the Department of Education, who's very pro-choice for schools. So is Governor DeSantis, and we're doing a great job. But in the rest of if anyone's voting out of the state of Florida, but even in Florida, we got to have any parent should be be forced to send their kid to a failing public school, run by some of these liberal loons that are running it in the districts, like in Broward. And they're there, man. I'm telling you, there's these Nancy Pelosi types in the school districts making policy, and I didn't know it, and I got to live with it. These people got my daughter killed in Broward between the policies that they put in place and how they ran the school and how they refused to accept any responsibility. So no parent should have to send their kid to a public school that's failing. And that's what's at stake this election, pro-choice. President Trump's very pro-choice. No matter what your zip code is, you shouldn't have to send your child to that school, and there should be tax credits involved too. So there's a lot at stake. Those 3 things are so important for anyone who's on the fence. Okay, you got defunding the police and removing them out of schools. You got these restorative justice programs that Biden's going to put in, and you have school choice, all on the ballot for November. Okay, and it's very important. That's why you got to get out and vote Republican right down the ticket.
And that is part of the conversation that I had yesterday with Andrew Pollack, who opened up the Republican National Convention and was stressing, as you could hear, the key here is the president when it comes to school safety and all the reasons that he brought up, and some of even what he is continuing to do, which we're going to get into in the next few weeks. He'll join us once again, Andrew Pollack, who's got this schoolsafetygrant.org website where he's working with different schools. And we're going to talk about that software that he has, and something that he has been passionate about, certainly school safety. And again, schoolsafetygrant.org. And I would encourage you to check out the website and see for yourself what he has been doing. And there have been many questions about whether or not, when it comes to the restorative justice policies that the Obama-Biden administration put into place, the Promise program and what they were doing in Broward, and whether or not this is something that is happening in our community, is important to recognize. And this is something else that we're going to talk about as we move forward in the next few weeks, as we get closer to Election Day, understanding that as we have all of these speakers at the RNC that have been talking about a lot of different issues, and we'll play more from the RNC and day 3 yesterday. The president speaks tonight. One of the things we also have to recognize is that when these individuals speak, there are things that they are talking about that we don't talk about enough. And the comparison between what Democrats would like to either put back in place, things that were taken away by the president, this idea of restorative justice, this Promise program that, as Andrew Pollack explained, what it was like at the time in 2018 at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, and how individuals, students were treated, and whether or not that is something that's happening in our community. The answers may surprise you. And also some of the other issues that Democrats will bring to the table that the president has taken away when it comes to regulations and taxes and some of the bigger issues, but a lot of the smaller issues as well, which are not small by any stretch, but certainly as important because they hit us at a local level. And again, that goes back to something I talked about many, many times, is to be careful of the nonpartisan races and the people that will tell you that you can't ask them about their partisanship and it doesn't matter. And in the school district, it does. Because if restorative justice and the Promise program was something that Democrats put in place, and you have a Democrat that you voted for to be on the Lee County School Board, let's just say for an example, but you didn't know at the time, or maybe you didn't ask because you were told you couldn't ask, because it had nothing to do with this. There's no partisanship in schools. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. And this is a perfect example of how there is. Because you tell me, if somebody despises the president of the United States, like some on the Lee County School Board do, hates this governor, like some on the Lee County School Board do, and would love nothing more than to have a Democrat in office, then don't you think that, of course, they're going to want to bring back, if it's not already here, the idea of restorative justice and a Promise program in Southwest Florida, whether it's Lee County or Collier County? Think about that. Of course, it's logical. But I don't expect Democrats to have any kind of logic at all. 239-479-5592. All right, let's do this right now. Drew's College of Political Knowledge, 4 questions on politics. The more you get right, the higher the degree. We'll see if you earn a PhD. If you'd like to play right now, caller number 5. We would encourage you to call 239-479-5592. 5th caller plays Drew's College next on Daybreak 92.5 Fox News. Right all along with traffic, here is Sabrina Katz.
The crash in North Fort Myers at Knoll Road and Quail Run is causing complete roadblock at the intersection, so a place to avoid this morning. Also a crash in Fort Myers at Miramar Road and Palm Beach Boulevard. Off and on slowdowns eastbound towards the interstate. If you're in the Cape, it is congested southbound on Country Club heading south of Veterans. Also a delay in North Cape on Nelson Road to Diplomat Parkway. That's you up to the minute traffic. I'm Sabrina Katz. Wink News next.
Wink Weather Authority.
93 degrees as we are halfway through the work week. Your Wednesday also includes all the humidity, making it feel like the triple digits, as we will have scattered showers and storms to try to cool you down as we go throughout the day. With Wink News, I'm meteorologist Matt Devitt, the Weather Authority.
Wink News at the top and bottom of the hour.
Rush Limbaugh. We have a news story here from the United Kingdom. It's an example of what the left is trying to do everywhere. Dr. David Macareth was training to become a disability assessor with the Department for Work and Pensions. When he was ordered to refer to patients by whatever gender label they identified as, he objected. Strike 1. Strike 2 was his reason. He said gender is defined by biology and genetics. The doctor also cited his religious belief. He said that as a Christian, he believed God made humans male and female. Strike 3, dude. He was found unfit to work as a disability assessor, and he was promptly fired. The doctor filed a discrimination complaint. Last week, the tribunal in Birmingham announced its decision. Now, the ruling addressed 3 issues. The judge said the doctor's belief that God made 2 sexes, his lack of belief in transgenderism, and his conscientious objection to transgenderism were incompatible with human dignity. So in the eyes of this court, traditional morality and Christian belief, as taught for thousands of years in churches around the world, is somehow incompatible with human dignity. Listen, if you think this anti-religious ruling is incompatible with what liberals want to do here in the United States, guess again, bro. It's only a matter of time, and not much time at that. Next time somebody asks you how many genders there are, just say 100 to be safe. Sometimes in life, it's easy to settle for good enough. But with identity theft protection, good enough isn't enough. Data breaches appear to be happening more and more, placing your data in the wrong hands, and that leads to identity theft. Now, if you're only monitoring your credit, you could miss certain threats, like somebody selling your info on the dark web. LifeLock sees a wide range of identity threats. And if you end up with an identity theft issue, a restoration specialist dedicated to your case will work to fix it. Now, look, no one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all the transactions at all businesses, but shouldn't you have identity theft protection that's better than just good enough? Go to lifelock.com or call them at 800-440-4833. Use my name as the promo code. That's RUSH. Save up to 25% off your first year. lifelock.com. Promo code RUSH, 25% off.
92.5 Fox News, making Southwest Florida great every day. 92.5 Fox News.
True relief for back and neck pain.
At Johnston Spinal Care 596 Back, if you're suffering with a spinal-related problem, pain, numbness, or weakness, through the use of spinal decompression therapy, we've helped hundreds and hundreds of local residents return to a pain-free, productive life. People who once suffered from stenosis, sciatica, bulging, or herniated discs and thought there was no solution are now living pain-free. Spinal decompression is relaxing and painless, while it gently eases pressure off painful nerves and spinal discs. No pain, no needles, and no surgery. I've successfully been using spinal decompression in Southwest Florida for over 13 years, and the results are only getting better. Take your life back. Call our Medicare-friendly office today for a free telephone consultation to find out how spinal decompression can help you. Johnston Spinal Care, 596 Back, 596-2225. That's 596-2225.
Thinking about new kitchen and bathroom countertops? Rock Solid's full granite slabs starting at $499, quartz $599, remnants starting at $150 means now is the time to save at Rock Solid. Rock Solid is a worldwide importer. Certified fabricators, installers, true artisans, and craftsmen. Shop direct. Don't get caught by hidden costs and delays from the big box stores. Call Rock Solid 239-596-7676. On the web, rocksolidnaples.com. Installation in about a week.
Rock Solid. We don't stop at just countertops.
Drew's College of Political Knowledge is presented by France Eye Care. Better vision, better life.
Attention, class. It's time for Drew's College of Political Knowledge.
It's Drew's College.
All right, let's go to Nick. Nick is on Sanibel. How do I know? Because here's Nick. Hey, Nick.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. It's Drew's College of Political Knowledge. 4 questions on politics. The more you get right, the higher the degree. We'll see if you earn a PhD. And are you ready to go with your associate's degree question, Nick?
Yes.
Okay. Sound enthused. All right, here we go. The Democrats are running a vice presidential ticket in 2020. Who are they?
Kamala Harris. And Joe Biden.
That is correct, sir. All right, you got an associate's. Let's see if we get a bachelor's on this question. From which country did America declare its independence from?
Britain.
That is correct, sir. All right, you got a bachelor's. We'll see if you get a master's degree on this question. If the president can no longer serve, who becomes the president?
Mike Pence.
That is correct, sir.
Vice President.
Vice President, that is right. Got a master's. We'll see if you get a PhD on this question. What stops one branch of government from becoming too powerful? It's called...
The House of Representatives?
No, it's called a separation of powers, checks and balances. That's what we call that. That's okay. No worries. Listen, you did great, right up until that point. But you knew that it's the pressure of the call and the drive. You're driving, right?
Yeah, I'm driving.
It's the pressure of the drive. Yeah, you got to. Sometimes you got to pull over and you got to just kind of idle right there. Anyway, congratulations. Yeah, you got yourself a master's degree, Nick, on Drew's College today. So congratulations. Stay there. You get to talk to Jake. He'll let you know how to get that diploma coming up. And coming up, John Pence is going to join us as well. We're going to talk about the vice president's speech last night and the acceptance of the vice presidential nomination.
This is Daybreak. 92.5 Fox News.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and yes, Ryan Hammond Painting and Contracting. I love these guys. I love the company. I can tell you personally, I've used them multiple times over 7 or 8 years. A company that's been in Southwest Florida since 2001. The great staff, the way they communicate, every idea that my wife had that she wanted to do with regard to painting and contracting, boom, just like that. They were on it.
So what can they handle? How about anything to do with restoration or repair? Coatings, like the coating in my garage is amazing. They do over 700 clients annually. You don't have to take my word for it. They're one of the highest reviewed contractors for what they do, maintaining 4.9 to 5 stars, and I can see why. So you're thinking about a repaint, you're thinking about your garage floor, you're thinking about some remodeling. I'm telling you, Ryan Hammond Painting and Contracting. So give them a call today, 239-872-2559. That's 239-872-2559. See the experience that I have had with Ryan Hammond Painting and Contracting, and you will say it as well. They are the best.
Summer clearance event going on now at Galliana Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Lowest prices ever on over 1,500 new and certified pre-owned vehicles. All new Jeep Gladiator Overland lease, $399 per month. Loaded luxurious Grand Cherokee Limited lease, $329 per month. New Ram Bighorn Crew Cab lease, $319 per month. That's right, award-winning Ram trucks, $319 per month. Plus at Galliana Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, you can drive payment-free for 3 months, interest-free for 6 years, and worry-free up to 100,000 miles. And our parts service and body shop are open to serve you. Summer clearance event featuring Ram Bighorn Crew Cabs for $319 per month at Galliana Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, 1/2 mile south of Daniels Parkway on US 41 in Fort Myers. Open every day, including Sunday. Call 239-481-2600. GallianaCars.com.
42 monthly, 10,000 miles per year, $32.94 due at signing plus tax tag title 0 security deposit, $13.88 per month per 1,000 borrowed for 72 months at 0% APR with 0 down with lender approval. Offers don't combine.
92.5 WFSX Estero. It's 7 o'clock on Southwest Florida's news and talk station, 92.5 Fox News.
This Wink News update is presented by Lee Auto Group. Find your perfect vehicle at lee-cars.com.
Now, this is a Wink News update.
I'm Corey Lazar with Wink News. A 91-year-old Lee County woman injured after being aggressively handcuffed for running a stop sign. A deputy tried to pull the woman over. She didn't stop, assuming the flashing lights were for someone else. She says the deputy left her burned, bruised, and bloodied. That deputy is now being investigated while on paid administrative leave. Cincinnati Bengals cornerback Mackenzie Alexander, jailed for beating a man connected to the disappearance of his father, is now out of jail this morning. The Immokalee native is facing charges for punching that man, who was the last person to see Alexander's father before he went missing. On Monday, his father went berry picking in Okeechobee County, but never came back. Today, you have the chance to get a look at your students' COVID-conscious classrooms. Lee school administrators are running 4 tours of Paul Lawrence Dunbar Middle School. There's plastic at the front desk, spacing between student desk and one-way stairwells, and they're just some of the safety changes made for the pandemic. Today's tours will happen every 15 minutes, starting at 10 a.m. This morning, the man accused of killing 2 sisters will face a judge for the first time. 53-year-old Cesare Bartnicki of Naples is facing charges after a crash that killed Janet and Ann Wilson just months ago. He also faces a hit-and-run charge for leaving the state after getting out of the hospital. More good news for Florida in the fight against coronavirus. The state has now a 14-day streak reporting testing positivity rates lower than 10%. Yesterday's percentage was 5.72%, and that's another decrease from Tuesday's 7.49%. Multiple USF students are suspended this morning after throwing large parties. No one can live on campus or attend class until their student conduct cases have been resolved. The university has a zero-tolerance policy. I'm Corey Lazar, Wink News Now.
Wink News traffic.
The crash in North Fort Myers at Knoll Road and Quail Run is causing complete roadblock at the intersection, so a place to avoid this morning. Also a crash in Fort Myers at Miramar Road and Palm Beach Boulevard. Off and on slowdowns eastbound towards the interstate. If you're in the Cape, it is congested southbound on Country Club heading south of Veterans. Also a delay in North Cape on Nelson Road to Diplomat Parkway. That's your up-to-the-minute traffic. I'm Sabrina Katz. Wink News next.
Wink Weather Authority.
Stay cool this afternoon, 93 degrees, heat index over 100, as we will see afternoon and evening pop-up scattered rain and storms to try to cool you down. With Wink News, I'm meteorologist Matt Devitt, Weather Authority.
Wink News at the top and bottom of the hour.
The antidote to the anti-conservatives. 92.5 Fox News. Right all along.
Hi, I'm Kyle Lee with Lee Auto Group. We sell more low-mileage cars and trucks than anyone in Southwest Florida because we have more. Over 300 vehicles in stock with locations in Fort Myers and Tampa. See for yourself at lee-cars.com.
Get a 2019 Buick Encore SUV with only 584 miles for $20,000. Practically a new car for thousands less. Or a 2004 Buick Park Avenue with only 56,000 miles. Florida Condo Car for $6,500. With over 300 vehicles, visit lee-cars.com.
Don't forget the dash.
It's time to clean out your files and finally get rid of that mountain of paper. Collier County residents can bring 20 pounds of documents for free shredding. The shredding event takes place the first Saturday of every month at a recycling center near you. The next event is Saturday, September 5th. Shredding trucks will be on site from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. in Naples, North Collier, and Northeast Collier. Here's your chance to get rid of old confidential documents for free. For more details, visit colliercountyfl.gov/recycle.
Southwest Florida is our home, and there's a lot to love. Our community gatherings, our sporting events, our quality health care and education, and our natural resources, just to name a few. It's why we call Southwest Florida our home, and it's why we love living here. As residents of Southwest Florida, we're strong, compassionate, and capable. Let's protect what and who we love by following CDC guidelines. Together, we can protect our home and each other. For more information about CDC guidelines, visit legov.com/COVID-19.
Hi, everyone. It's me, Drew Barrymore. A lot has changed this year, and that's why I want to do more when our new daytime show premieres. More meaningful stories, more laughs, more inspiration, more. Like Drew Barrymore. Get it? Drew Barrymore!
The Drew Barrymore Show, coming to daytime.
It's got my name on it, but it's all about you.
Drew Barrymore, coming soon to Wink TV Afternoons.
Fox News.
At Fisher Investments, we do things differently, and other money managers don't understand why.
Because our way works great for us.
But it may not work for your clients. That's why Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, obligated to put clients first. It's the highest standard for a financial advisor.
So, what do you provide? Cookie-cutter portfolios like the rest of us?
No cookie-cutter portfolios here. Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to meet each client's goals and needs.
But you do sell investments that earn you high commissions, right? And make commissions when you make trades for your clients?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission investment products, and we never earn commissions on trades.
So what's in it for you?
Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when our clients do better. When it comes to helping clients achieve a comfortable retirement, we're clearly different. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
From 92.5 Fox News.
It's the stuff Southwest Florida is talking about.
It's Daybreak. Now, here's the guy at the epicenter of what's important to those of us who live in Southwest Florida. Drew Steve.
Well, good morning, Southwest Florida. Glad you're here. 239-479-5592 is the text line. Streaming live on YouTube anytime you want to watch at Drew Steele Radio. Steele with 3 E's. We always appreciate you subscribing. Helps to keep us going, whether on YouTube or Facebook. Yesterday, day 3 of the RNC, another great evening, and the vice president had a chance to speak this morning. John Pence joining us, senior advisor to the campaign, and the vice president's nephew, as a matter of fact, joining us on Daybreak to talk about the vice president's speech. And I'm so happy that he has the opportunity to join us. It's Drew Steele. How are you this morning, sir?
Hey, Drew, I'm great. Good morning to you. How are you?
We are fantastic here. And I'll tell you, I have to be honest, and I hear it from a lot of people. I'm sure you do as well. And it almost seems like others as well, including C-SPAN, seems to be hearing it too. The fact that they are very excited about the president and the vice president and what they have had to say, the party and the way they have communicated to the American people. In a minute, I'm going to play some clips from the vice president from last night, and I'd like you to comment on it. But maybe the broader picture before we get started. Talk a little bit about that. It is interesting how... and I bring this up, and I've played audio, and I think it's fantastic how C-SPAN has had these phone numbers for people to call, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, to get a gauge of what they've thought about the RNC up to date. And it's incredible how the calls have been coming back in support of the party, in support of the president and the vice president, and how it's clear that the words and the things that are tangible resonate.
Well, Drew, I think, we obviously as a party had to adapt to the times and, only had a couple weeks to put this together in a different way. But I think we've made our case as a party to the American people that the Republican way is the American way.
Yeah.
And in 67 days, we need to vote for our freedoms again. We need to vote for America, and we need to reelect this president for 4 more years.
Yeah. No doubt. All right, so let me play some clips from the vice president from last night and love you to comment on it. First, I'll start with this short clip, but right to the point.
And when it came to the economy, President Trump kept his word and then some.
When it came to the economy, the president kept his word and then some. I could just wrap it up right there. Right? It's like perfect. That says it all, doesn't it?
Well, we started the week off, about promises, this land of promise. But also promises made, promises kept. And, think about where we've come together over the last 3 years. Even while this global pandemic came in from China, when we cut taxes, when we got government out of the way, when we unleashed American energy independence, we saw a more prosperous land of promise for all Americans. And that's what this agenda is about. It's about, protecting our future freedoms, but also our future prosperity, security, and opportunity. And it may be one of the clips you play, but a line that really struck me that my uncle said, the vice president, was, today, the Democrats' agenda is based on government control.
Yep.
Our agenda, this Republican agenda, is based on freedom. And I think that is a very stark and true contrast in this election.
Yeah, in case you missed it, here it is.
They believe the federal government needs to dictate how Americans live, how we should work, how we should raise our children, and in the process deprive our people of freedom, prosperity, and security. Their agenda is based on government control. Our agenda is based on freedom.
That is so true and so spot on. And the one thing that I do appreciate about this president and the vice president certainly is that when he says that, we have, again, for me, and I think for a lot of my listeners, it's about things that are tangible. It's nice when people say things, but it means something when they live it, when they feel it, when they understand and they believe that the party has been communicating freedom. The party has been able to show, the president has been able to show the tangible results of an economy that works for everybody. And it really does strike home for a lot of people what the vice president said right there, to your point.
Right, true. And remember kind of who the vice president is. He started off as a lawyer, realized, I'm more passionate about being a voice for the American people. He started what you're doing right now, the Mike Pence show. It was a radio show. I remember when I was a kid going by his little studio at their house in their basement. And then one day, he was sort of positioned in the middle of Indianapolis. And he's always had his ear to the American people. Mm-hmm. And this speech to me was just another example of the vice president is listening to the American people. He sees what's going on. He took a lot of time to really prepare every word for this speech to make the case for 4 more years for President Trump and this Republican agenda for freedom.
Yeah. He had a studio in his house, John Pence, a man ahead of his time. Who knew that having a studio in your house would be almost commonplace?
Well, it may have been more budgetary constraints back then, but
no, I understand.
But really, this is where the rubber meets the road, mm-hmm. and he would take calls from folks. He was like the C-SPAN of Indiana, but he was, he said, "Hey, I'm a conservative, but I'm not mad about it," and he would take calls from both sides of the aisle, and and he spent many years explaining to Hoosiers in Indiana, why this Republican Party is the right way for America.
Yeah. John Pence joining us this morning on Daybreak, 92.5 Fox News, senior advisor to the Trump campaign, the vice president's nephew. We're talking a little about yesterday in the RNC, the vice president's speech, just hitting home in so many ways. And again, you know, a calming, reassuring voice as always, but really getting to the heart and to the point of the issues of the day. And I want to play one more clip before we go, because I think this is such an important one. It's a little longer, but I want you to comment on this because, again, it speaks volumes about the difference of what is happening in society and in the party. And he said this.
Last week, Joe Biden didn't say one word about the violence and chaos engulfing cities across this country. So let me be clear. The violence must stop. Whether in Minneapolis, Portland, or Kenosha, too many heroes have died defending our freedom to see Americans strike each other down. We will have law and order on the streets of this country for every American of every race and creed and color.
And again, an important moment because, John, I dare a Democrat to step to a podium and say the same thing, because ultimately when you say something like that, you have to have the convictions that so many other Americans do have, which is exactly the words that he spoke right there. And you do have to question what the party thinks, the Democrat Party.
Right. Well, thank you to our vice president for saying that,
yeah,
and having the courage of conviction to say what's right.
Yeah.
And, you know, the president over the last couple of months has made the point of, you know, we are the land of liberty and justice for all. But kind of hearkening back on the words of Reverend King, that lawlessness will never bring lasting peace. And if we can't preserve our law and order, our safety, then those who have the least, if we call it defund the police, those who have the least will hurt the most.
Yeah.
And I am very proud to be a Republican and see the leadership and the difference in leadership, as you mentioned, Drew, between a convention last week that said nothing about the lawlessness, nothing about the riots, nothing about the chaos and the violence. And then this party this week that's standing up for our greatness, it's standing up for our land of promise and opportunity, and also remembering our heroes that came home and those who didn't come home. And being, you know, it's funny, I listen to NPR every morning just to see what the hot take is. And the only thing they could report about the vice president's acceptance of the nomination for the vice presidency was the location, not the significance, not the history, not the greatness at which Fort McHenry represents. But, you know, they didn't even mention that the campaign got a permit. And if Joe Biden wanted to speak there, I'm sure he could have, but he stayed in his basement.
Yeah.
You know, it's people, the American people see through it, though. And I got to tell you, at the campaign that I've been a part of, I was working at a law firm and then joined the campaign when the president picked my uncle. As this is going on, as the convention's going on right now, there are over 7,500 volunteer training events in this Republican Party happening across America. I'm actually on my way to Colorado to join some of those events today, and we are on track to build the largest grassroots campaign operation in American political history. We're knocking over 1 million doors a week, Drew, and we're doing and continuing to do the hard work of campaigning.
Yeah.
Because there are going to be no shortcuts to a great victory in just 67 days. And, you know, I'm excited to hear the president tonight. I was very proud of my uncle and the message and vision that he shared for our country last night. And I really do believe that with God's help and this president for 4 more years, the best is yet to come for our country and for all Americans.
Yeah. No doubt. Well, listen, we appreciate you, John Pence, senior advisor to the Trump campaign, the vice president's nephew, talking about the vice president speaking yesterday at the RNC. Another fantastic moment, and what a great message. And certainly, you know how we appreciate the vice president here in Southwest Florida. I know he appreciates Southwest Florida as well, obviously, for obvious reasons. And and you know, and anytime you get a chance to speak, if he maybe he might want to give us a call or something sometime. And we would love to speak with him. I'm just putting that out there, John. I'm just saying, John. Anytime you happen a good word for us would be nice.
Hey, I'll throw it out there. Even better, hopefully he will be in Florida. You're going to see the president and vice president all over the country to make the case directly to the American people as why this agenda needs 4 more years for all Americans.
Yeah, well, we certainly appreciate you, and we got to do something about maybe getting you a little extra something for listening to NPR every morning. I mean, I hope they give you a little something for that, because I'm just saying, we got to put that out there as well. All right, John, listen, all the best. We'll speak soon, okay?
Yeah, sounds great. Take care, Drew.
All right, you do as well. All right, it's Daybreak 92.5 Fox News, right all along. Let's find out what's happening with traffic up to the minute. Here's Sabrina Katz.
The crash in North Fort Myers at Knoll Road and Quail Run is causing complete roadblock at the intersection, so a place to avoid this morning. Also a crash in Fort Myers at Miramar Road and Palm Beach Boulevard. Off and on slowdowns eastbound towards the interstate. If you're in the Cape, it is congested southbound on Country Club heading south of Veterans. Also a delay in North Cape on Nelson Road to Diplomat Parkway. That's your up-to-the-minute traffic. I'm Sabrina Katz. Wink News now.
Wink Weather Authority.
93 degrees as we are halfway through the work week. Your Wednesday also includes all the humidity, making it feel like the triple digits, as we will have scattered showers and storms to try to cool you down as we go throughout the day. With Wink News, I'm meteorologist Matt Devitt, the Weather Authority.
Wink News at the top and bottom of the hour.
There's the left way, and then there's the right way. 92.5 Fox News, the conservative, smart, right voice of Southwest Florida.
I'm Harvey Massey. At Massey Services, we know every lawn is unique and requires customized care. That's why our environmental approach includes aeration, which allows water and nutrients to reach the roots of your lawn, as well as an irrigation program which ensures proper coverage and reduces water waste. With Massey's Green Up program, you'll enjoy a healthy and a beautiful lawn year-round. That's Massey Services. Expect more and get it.
Home is truly where the heart is. To protect it, you need top-quality roofing installed by experts. That's why we chose CFS Roofing Services. Now my home's weather-tight and beautifully resilient.
New roof leak from old Hurricane Irma damage? Insurance claim deadline is September 9th. Call CFS now for a free roof analysis. 561-2600 or cfsroofing.com. I'm David Crowther, and I approve this message.
True relief for back and neck pain. Sitting at home with back or neck pain, lying in a recliner suffering with leg pain or weakness, out of shape from sciatica, stenosis, or neuropathy? Get relief and get your life back. Non-surgical spinal decompression. This is Dr. Johnson, DC at 596 Back. Spinal decompression is an ingenious, innovative treatment that has shattered doctors' traditional ways of treating back or neck problems. Doctors have been left scratching their heads. Finally, avoid needles, epidurals, and drugs. This treatment is also super comfortable. Patients of any age can be treated and doesn't involve any hanging upside down. It uses a relaxing, computerized table to gently remove pressure on spinal nerves and discs, relieving pain, numbness, or weakness. Call our Medicare-friendly office today for a free telephone consultation to find out how spinal decompression can help you. Johnston Spinal Care, 596 Back, 596-2225. That's 596-2225.
Opinions are everywhere when you watch the news. But what about your opinion? Why can't you just get the facts to decide for yourself? News Nation is starting Tuesday, 8/7 Central on WGN America. A nightly newscast in primetime that doesn't tell you what to think. 7 nights a week, News Nation will deliver you news, not talk. Facts, not opinions. Find your local channel by going to WGNAmerica.com. It's your news, your nation.
Can Donald Trump really beat Joe Biden? Now, Blitz, a new bestseller by David Horowitz, reveals President Trump's real game plan. Blitz even predicts Trump will win in a landslide. Mark Levin calls Blitz the indispensable book of the 2020 election. It's already a New York Times bestseller. Get Blitz or check out the free offer and save $28. Just go online to blitz411.com or call 800-NEWSMAX. That's 800-NEWSMAX. Get Blitz today.
With the market and unemployment rates bouncing up and down, many of us have found ourselves with some important decisions to make regarding our 401k plans. If you don't work there, should your money stay there? For those nearing retirement age, this decision could be critical to your retirement. Bob Grace and the team at Trifound Financial have worked with many families with these types of decisions and understand your dilemma. Taxes are at historic lows right now. We can show you options for your 401k that could save you on taxes down the road. Call the team at Trifound Financial and schedule your complimentary 401k review at 866-366-1099. Call the Trifound Financial team today for your complimentary 401k review at 866-366-1099. That's 866-366-1099. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Neither the firm nor its representatives can provide tax advice.
This is 92.5 Fox News.
All right, it's Daybreak 92.5 Fox News 239-479-5592. That is the text line. I give you the text line right now because, in case you don't know this, coming up this morning at 10 a.m., we're going to do this big, huge Zoom meeting. And we are inviting you to be a part of it, where we are going to together say the Pledge of Allegiance. We're going to do this the right way. We're going to do it properly. Under God is there in the pledge, and we're going to leave it in, unlike the Democrats decided to do last week. So we would love for you to be part of this huge Zoom meeting where we will say the pledge together. I've got a couple of World War II veterans that will be joining us as well to lead us in the pledge. And I would be honored if you would join us this morning. And it's simple. Just text the letters RNC right now, the letters RNC to 239-479-5592. You do that, and you will get a message with the Zoom link and everything you need to do to get into the Zoom meeting with us. And we've got a maximum of 100 people, so make sure you get ready to get in early, and then all together we will do it in unison. And yeah, I could present it to the RNC. Why not? We'll do that later. So 10 a.m. this morning. But in order to get the invitation, you've got to text the letters RNC to 239-479-5592. Do it now.
This is Daybreak. 92.5 Fox News.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Summer is in full swing, and my friends Jason and Todd with the Diamond District are continuing to liquidate the largest selection of GIA and Forevermark loose certified diamonds, engagement rings, and fashionable diamond jewelry.
So I gotta ask, what's stopping you? If you're one of the millions of men over the age of 50 who suffer from some form of erectile dysfunction, don't you want some solutions? Metro Men's Health offers a proven treatment program with over 85% of its clients reporting success. So are you afraid of pain, downtime, or surgery? Metro Men's Health offers no pain, no needles, no pills, no surgery, and no downtime. Instead, Metro Men's Health offers what's called focused linear compression therapy. It's a proven therapy that opens up and revitalizes your blood vessels for better blood flow. It's that simple. And since the staff is professional and understanding, there's no need for embarrassment either. So I have to ask you again, what's stopping you? Call Metro Men's Health today. Get your questions answered, meet with the doctor, understand the process, and get started. Call 239-599-9900 or go to metromenshealth.com. That's 239-599-9900 or metromenshealth.com. Metro Men's Health can help.
Hi, Michael Crothers, owner of Pure Air Conditioning. Now that our economy has reopened and to help the community, we've decided to offer a safe $29 AC maintenance. All Pure Air employees are supplied with gloves, foot coverings, and KN95 masks for your and their protection. Find us online at getpureair.com to schedule your safe $29 AC maintenance. Join me every Saturday at 11:30 a.m. for the Get Pure Air radio show. I'll be talking about everything from air conditioning maintenance to troubleshooting tips.
We're honest and true, and we're here to serve you. National Exterminators.
Living in Southwest Florida, we get lots of unexpected visitors, like your cousin Ernie from Poughkeepsie, whose family shows up for an extended stay.
Surprise!
But the most unwelcome of all visitors are the bugs and pests who want to make your house their home. And that's where National Exterminators comes in. Things like termites and rodents can cause extensive damage, but National Exterminators is a great way to protect your investment. They've been locally owned for over 40 years, so they know what it takes to keep the Southwest Florida pests at bay. With service plans priced at $46. So call 239-46-NO-BUG and let National Exterminators get rid of your unexpected visitors. As for Cousin Ernie, unfortunately, you're on your own there. Call 239-46-NO-BUG or visit pestcontrolmadeeasy.com.
National Exterminators.
Restrictions may apply.
Lead, inspire, change the world again. Join thousands and find which volunteer opportunity is best for you. Call 1-800-424-8867 today or visit www.getinvolved.gov. This message is brought to you by the Corporation for National and Community Service on this station.
92.5 Fox News.
When only the truth will do.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. Hurricane Laura is pounding the Texas and Louisiana Gulf Coast, moving inland after making landfall overnight. Fox's Leland Vittert reports.
The storm surge is 16 to 20 feet, which means that at the highest point of Lake Charles, Louisiana, which is the Golden Nugget Casino I'm standing in, there's likely to be water on the floor, which means that anybody else's house in Lake Charles is probably going to be underwater.
Vice President Pence at the Republican convention says we're on track to have a coronavirus vaccine by the end of the year.
The vice president blasted a comment from Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden, who said when it comes to the virus, no miracle is coming.
America is a nation of miracles.
During the vice president's speech, Biden posted on Twitter, 180,000 people have died from this COVID crisis, and the heartbreaking truth is that it didn't have to happen this way.
Fox's Jill Nato. America's listening to Fox News.
This Wink News update is presented by Stadium Dry Cleaners. Online at stadiumdrycleaners.com.
Now, this is a Wink News update.
I'm Corey Lazar with Wink News. A 91-year-old Lee County woman injured after being aggressively handcuffed for running a stop sign. A deputy tried to pull the woman over. She didn't stop, assuming the flashing lights were for someone else. She says the deputy left her burned, bruised, and bloodied. That deputy is now being investigated while on paid administrative leave. Cincinnati Bengals cornerback Mackenzie Alexander, jailed for beating a man connected to the disappearance of his father, is now out of jail this morning. The Immokalee native is facing charges for punching that man, who was the last person to see Alexander's father before he went missing. On Monday, his father went berry picking in Okeechobee County, but never came back. Today, you have the chance to get a look at your students' COVID-conscious classrooms. Lee School administrators are running 4 tours of Paul Lawrence Dunbar Middle School. There's plastic at the front desk, spacing between student desk and one-way stairwells, and they're just some of the safety changes made for the pandemic. Today's tours will happen every 15 minutes, starting at 10 a.m. This morning, the man accused of killing 2 sisters will face a judge for the first time. 53-year-old Cesare Bartnicki of Naples is facing charges after a crash that killed Janet and Ann Wilson just months ago. He also faces a hit-and-run charge for leaving the state after getting out of the hospital. More good news for Florida in the fight against coronavirus. The state has now a 14-day streak reporting testing positivity rates lower than 10%. Yesterday's percentage was 5.72%, and that's another decrease from Tuesday's 7.49%. Multiple USF students are suspended this morning after throwing large parties. No one can live on campus or attend class until their student conduct cases have been resolved. The university has a zero-tolerance policy. I'm Corey Lazar, Wink News Now.
Wink News traffic.
The crash in North Fort Myers at Knoll Road and Quail Run is causing complete roadblock at the intersection, so a place to avoid this morning. Also a crash in Fort Myers at Miramar Road and Palm Beach Boulevard. Off and on slowdowns eastbound towards the interstate. If you're in the Cape, it is congested southbound on Country Club heading south of Veterans. Also a delay in North Cape on Nelson Road to Diplomat Parkway. That's your up-to-the-minute traffic. I'm Sabrina Katz. Wink News now.
Wink Weather Authority.
Stay cool this afternoon. 93 degrees, heat index over 100 as we will see afternoon and evening pop-up scattered rain and storms to try to cool you down. With Wink News, I'm meteorologist Matt Devitt, Weather Authority.
Wink News at the top and bottom of the hour.
Plug into the power. 92.5 Fox News. Right. All along.
In choosing the law firm to represent you, pick a firm that's been around a long time. I've seen so many come and go. And pick a firm with the financial strength to give you the best chance to be fully compensated. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Whether it's a car crash case or an insurance dispute, you need a firm which can match the other side dollar for dollar. Let us fight for you. There's only one Morgan & Morgan. Dial Pound Law on your cell. Pound Law, that's all. Offices, Fort Myers and
At 1 Hour Air Conditioning and Heating, our comfort specialists can handle any AC repair. Just call 855-1-HOUR or visit onehourair.com.
Always on time or you don't pay time.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in their respective state or county.
You should be driving a Kia from Galliana. Galliana Kia.
Why? Why pay more for a used car or truck when Galliana Kia in Fort Myers can sell you a new car for less? 2020 Kia Forte LXS lease, just $49 per month. That's right, a new car for just $49 per month. 2020 Kia Rio, just $13,990. Yes, $13,990. Worried about your credit? Don't sweat it. Galliana Kia has lenders to get almost anyone approved. Plus, we'll take any trade, in any condition, even if you're upside down. Why? Why buy an overpriced used car when you can buy a new car for less? Brand new Kias, just $49 per month.
You should be driving a Kia from Galliana. Galliana Kia.
At Galliana Kia, 1/2 mile south of Daniels Parkway on US 41 in Fort Myers. Open every day, including Sunday. Call 239-481-2600. GallianaCars.com. 24 monthly, 12,000 miles per year, $39.99 US plus tax title, deed on acquisition, zero security deposit with lender approval, expires month end.
This is 92.5 Fox News.
All right, it's Daybreak 92.5 Fox News, 239-479-5592. Streaming live on YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel. It's free. Just go to Drew Steele Radio, Steele with 3 E's, and it helps to keep us going on YouTube and Facebook. Coming up at 7:50, Drew's College of Political Knowledge. 4 questions on politics. The more you get right, the higher the degree. We'll see if you earn a PhD. 6:50 and 7:50. We do it each day, so we'll have a little bit of fun coming up. But this is something that I've been talking about recently. We have to more than ever now back the blue. We have to now more than ever understand what law enforcement is up against in this country, and the fact that I think it's so important that we communicate to people that these are our friends, these are our family members, brothers, sisters, husbands, sons, daughters, wives. These are people in our community that I want to make sure that we meet, that we get to talk to. Taking away the politics. I don't even want to deal with or talk about or worry about the politics. I just want you to know that these are members of our community that are there, that are serving our community. And so I've been so blessed to be able to introduce some to you in your community, like Staff Officer Scott Griffith, who's joining us right now on Daybreak 92.5 Fox News with the Lee County Sheriff's Office there since, is that right, Scott, since 2016?
2016, yep.
2016. I'm so glad that you have a few minutes to join us this morning. So tell me a little bit about yourself, Scott, like yourself, your family. Tell me a little bit about you.
Well, I came down here to Florida. It was about 1982, 83. I had I was still playing football. I was working part-time as a law enforcement officer in Ohio, and didn't make it. And so I started applying, was able to get on with Fort Myers, and stayed at Fort Myers, worked my way up the ladder, and retired there and as a captain, bureau commander there at FMPD, and then was fortunate enough to get on there with the Lee County Sheriff's Office, and been working with them since that time. Awesome. And
so you play football?
I've been on with you, but I was on with you before. As a matter of fact, a couple times we were talking about the active shooter stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and, yes, Scott. Yeah. So when you were playing football in Ohio, was it like college ball, or was it what did you do? What position did you play?
Well, I went to Bowling Green. State University was there. Played linebacker there, and then had a little short stint. Signed a contract in Canada, and then started doing some tryouts. That agent was moving around and in the NFL. Had about 4 tryouts there, and then my last one was in Miami. And when I didn't make it, I stayed down here.
Right. So
actually, it was kind of, I called my dad and said, "Hey, Dad, I'm coming home." He said, "No, you're not."
Is that right?
Okay.
Wait a minute. No, I have to ask you before we go on. I have to ask you this. Is there a big difference between the NFL and Canadian football? It's the field is what? It's wider, right? Does it make it more difficult? Wider. I mean, for you as a linebacker, side to side, right? Does that make it more difficult?
Well, the game has changed so much now. These guys that are playing today, my goodness, they're so much bigger and faster and stronger, and the science behind everything, and it's just amazing. But yeah, it is. It does make it different, especially you got 20 yards in each end zone, so you'd still throw a damn long pass, a bomb, from the 30-yard line, 40-yard line. So you got a lot of stuff to cover in a lot of area. So absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about your day, each day, what your job is like.
I've been fortunate in my career. I was able, when I came on, just to do a whole lot of different things. I mean, there's probably, I don't know of any bureau or division I have not been in or had the opportunity to command or at least lead to some degree. So, I mean, I've SWAT teams, investigations, undercover, internal affairs, administrative stuff, training, and that's pretty much been my niche as the last one with training, and I've stayed in that and for the most part as a use of force person, and been fortunate enough to come over here and be able to work with everybody from the standpoint of use of force and active shooter, and now working a lot with our SROs, which has been great. The sheriff's very committed to getting a lot of training as much as we can under the certain circumstances that we have.
Sure.
But that's pretty much what I do now. A lot of is just training, whether it's our people or civilians,
right?
Out when they need different things. And again, that's been a little difficult too because of the distancing, things that have to go on. So, but we're making it work.
Yeah.
We're making it work.
Yeah, no doubt. So even early on in your career and in your life, what was it that drew you to law enforcement?
Well, I got to be honest, I didn't want to do it. Again, I was coming out of working some different things and college. And then, of course, when I didn't make it there in Canada because I got hurt.
Yeah.
My father, he was in police work. My father was a retired chief, and he said, "Well, you got to do something, And he said, "I think this might be a good thing for you." And so I got into the academy up there, and after going through the academy, things started clicking a little bit, and I really liked it. And the next thing you know, I'm fully engulfed in it, and just full speed ahead.
Yeah.
And I don't have any regrets.
Yeah.
I look back at it, and, I had some great times, and I was able to do some great things. I was able to get a lot of education. I got my master's degree out of it. I was able to attend the FBI National Academy. Wrote a book. I've just been very fortunate, blessed. Got a great family, great wife, great kids, great in-laws. I mean, and a lot of great friends along the way. So it's just been wonderful.
I like how you brought in the great in-laws too. That's always a good plug there. Make sure you're talking about the in-laws.
They're great people.
Yeah, no doubt.
Great people.
Well, listen.
But it's like you said though. Earlier on, it's not. I listened to your opening about everybody, and all of us, have a lot of different stories and a lot of different things that we go through.
Yeah.
I know 2013, my son-in-law was married to my only daughter, was injured over in Afghanistan. And he's an Army Ranger, and unfortunately stepped on an ID and lost both of his legs. And I know there's plenty of people who have gone through similar circumstances with their families, Mm-hmm. So the bottom line is with all, like you're saying, you're opening, law enforcement, families just like everybody else. But I will say, along with all the things that have been going on in this country today, I've had more people come up to me during the course of my day, Drew, and say, "Hey, thank you for your service," or, be eating somewhere, and next thing you know, the waitress is coming over and say, "Hey, your meal was picked up." I have never really, to be quite honest with you, seen so much kindness, especially for now. I can't speak to all the rest of the things that are happening to my brothers and sisters throughout the United States, but I can certainly tell you here in Lee County, the people here have just been unbelievably kind to us, at least to me, I can tell you.
Well, I'm happy to hear that, and just so you know, Scott, that how much we appreciate what you do each and every day, and how we just wanted to take a moment to say hi and to introduce you and others to the community, and how important that is to understand that you know our friends, our families, our neighbors, and next door neighbor. These are folks in our community that are serving the community, and we so appreciate you. Staff Officer Scott Griffith joining us on Daybreak 92.5 Fox News. All right, my friend, we will speak soon, all right? All the best.
Thank you, brother.
All right.
Take care.
We'll see you. 239-479-5592, the Tri-Town Construction Talk and Text line. So the RNC yesterday, and, you know, there's something that I wanted to make sure that everyone understands. That, yes, there were some impassioned speeches, great points that were being made at the RNC in the past couple of days. A lot of people talking even about the vice president's speech. It was Chris Wallace who was saying, listen, did a fantastic job dismantling everything that Joe Biden and the Democrats are going to do to this country, plan to do to this country, have done to this country. You just can't deny it. The facts are the facts. But when you have a moment where you have someone, for example, like congressional candidate Madison Cawthorn. Madison Cawthorn is a GOP congressional candidate. Could be the youngest person elected to Congress at 25 years of age. Left paralyzed and wheelchair bound after a car accident at the age of 18. And here he is on a national stage. And I want you to listen to a little of what he said just before he finished his time speaking to the country. And I want you to listen to this.
In this new town square, you don't have to apologize for your beliefs or cower to a mob. You can kneel before God, but stand for our flag. The American idea my ancestors fought for during the Revolutionary War is just as exciting and revolutionary today as it was 250 years ago. I say to Americans who love our country, young and old, be a radical for freedom. Be a radical for liberty. And be a radical for our republic, for which I stand, one nation under God, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and may God bless America.
And right there in that moment, he's standing out of his wheelchair and standing. Just powerful. And the reason why I bring it up is because not only was it a powerful moment, but it also speaks volumes when you have an opportunity to hear what the other side believes, what they see, what they comment on, and how they comment. And it was Amici Alcindor, who is someone you've probably, she works for NBC News and MSNBC, contributor. She's a White House correspondent. And right after that speech, she tweets, Madison Cawthorn, I remind you, a 25-year-old, paralyzed in a wheelchair, made it a point to stand, suggesting that all Americans should stand during the Pledge of Allegiance and national anthem. She writes, it was a direct rebuke of the actions by people, including black athletes who are currently sitting out games protesting police brutality. How do you do that? How do you see someone who's in a wheelchair, who loves this country and with the help of two individuals next to him, stands to make a point about standing for the pledge and the national anthem and the love for country. And that's where you go. And does this individual get called out by Democrats, by liberals, by progressives, by socialists, by the party of Democrats, by independents, by anyone? I mean, how vile an individual do you have to be to say that in that moment? Maybe you think it's not. But again, I think it's so important that even as today at 10 a.m., we will get together with you if you would like to join us and do this large Zoom meeting to say the pledge together. And I will have two World War II veterans who will be leading us. You can text the letters RNC to 239-479-5592 if you would like to join us. You see why I'm doing it? Do you see why we do it? Do you see what we're up against? And it's awful, but it feels so good to know that during this RNC, we have been introduced to individuals who have been able to speak directly to the greatness of this country, our freedoms and our liberties, and what people have been willing to do to stand and to honor those before us who fought for those freedoms and liberties, to take a moment to recognize, and then to have a president and a vice president certainly that have articulated it, have made it tangible for every American in ways that they never thought possible. Jobs in the economy, lowest unemployment across the board. And I hope we hear more. We certainly will hear more of that tonight in the president's speech. But just be ready for the other side and the anger and the vitriol that comes from individuals who don't feel the same way about the country as you do. And that's why those people need to be defeated. Because that is an ideology that we do not accept. Reaching across the aisle for what? How do you reach across the aisle? You defeat them, and we move forward. All right, 239-479-5592, the Tri-Town Construction Talk and Text line, streaming live on YouTube at Drew Steele Radio, Steele with 3 E's. And now, time for Drew's College of Political Knowledge. 4 questions on politics, the more you get right, the higher the degree. We'll see if you earn a PhD. And if you would like to call right now, call number 5 at 239-479-5592. Stay bright, 92.5 Fox News. We're bright all along with traffic. Here's Sabrina Katz.
East and west on East Terry between Old 41 and US 41. The best way to navigate around this is Bonita Beach Road. There's a little delay in Collier County on Immokalee Road heading west to 951. Spanish Oaks is very busy heading east to Logan. If you want to avoid this delay, Immokalee Road looks great between the interstate and 951. Should only take you about 4 minutes. That's your up-to-the-minute traffic. I'm Sabrina Katz. Wink News now.
Wink Weather Authority.
93 degrees as we are halfway through the work week. Your Wednesday also includes all the humidity, making it feel like the triple digits, as we will have scattered showers and storms to try to cool you down as we go throughout the day. With Wink News, I'm meteorologist Matt Devitt, the Weather Authority.
Wink News at the top and bottom of the hour.
Tougher than plastic, harder than wood. Nothing beats the power of steel. Drew Steele, weekday mornings at 6 on 92.5 Fox News.
Hey, it's Drew Steele here, and hurricane season, you know, it's upon us, and it's supposed to be a pretty active season for 2020. Get peace of mind from my friends at Generator Supercenter, the #1 Generac automatic standby generator dealer in the nation. You don't have to sweat the next outage. I've had my Generac for years. It is amazing. Get your free estimate on your Generac automatic standby generator today, in time for hurricane season, with expert installation and 24-hour monitoring. Generator Supercenter. Give them a shout at 208
204-3469. That's 204-3469 for Generator Supercenter.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Now, you've heard me say it before. I'll say it again because it's that important. Our American values, they're all on the line this election. But that's not all. Your future, your retirement, your savings are also on the line. But if you take the time to prepare now, you won't have to worry about how the markets or politics or anything else may impact or affect your nest egg. So you need to call my friend Alfie Townsend at Advantage Retirement Group. Now, Alfie is a CFP professional and will make sure that no part of your financial life is overlooked when planning for retirement. Now, don't wait and see what happens. The time to prepare for whatever comes next is right now. So call Alfie Townsend right now and his team at Advantage Retirement Group today. It's 239-747-1163. That's 239-747-1163. Plan for your retirement today. Go vote in November and call Advantage Retirement Group.
Investment advisory services offered through Townsend Advisory Group, LLC, a registered investment advisor in Florida.
Hey, it's Drew Steele talking to my friend Dave Meister, owner of the Floor Meisters. Love my Core-Tech, love my flooring, love my carpets. I love everything about Floor Meisters, to be quite honest. And as a matter of fact, doing it for a long time. Not just that. You and Miss Sugar, Dave.
Miss Sugar and I are going to be married 50 years on September 6th. Isn't that amazing?
Tell us more about some of what you have when it comes to carpet, Dave.
We got about 100 rolls of carpet in stock, starting at $1.99 a square foot installed carpet pad labor. As of normal, we have WPC, which is the Core-Tech and its competitors, and we have area rug for people to look at, and we do ceramic tile and wood also. I don't know how they can make it so cheap, but they do.
The quality is fantastic, and you are going to love the selection at Floor Meisters. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco. So give them a call today at 239-596-4964 or on the web at floormeisters.com.
Drew's College of Political Knowledge is presented by France Eye Care. Better vision, better life.
Attention, class. It's time for Drew's College of Political Knowledge.
It's Drew's College.
All right, let's go to Mark. Mark's in Fort Myers. Hey, Mark.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
It's Drew's College of Political Knowledge. 4 questions on politics. The more you get right, the higher the degree. We'll see if you earn a PhD. Your associate's degree question, sir, starts right now. Hey, Mark, do you know who the Democrat nominee for president of the United States was in 2016? Who was that in 2016?
Oh, lovely Hillary.
I am sick and tired.
That is correct, sir. All right. You got an associate's. We'll see if you get a bachelor's degree.
I'll never get tired of that clip.
Yeah.
I'll never get tired of that
You and I both. All right. Bachelor's degree on this question. Who was the 2000 nominee for president of the United States on the Democrat ticket? Who is that?
2000. That was Al Gore.
That is correct, sir.
No.
All right, you got a bachelor's degree. We'll see if you get a master's degree on this question. FDR were the initials of this president. FDR. Who was that?
Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
That is correct, sir. All right, you got a master's degree. We'll see if you get a PhD on this question. How many in the Bush family have campaigned for the presidency? How many? Did I lose you?
No, I'm here.
Okay, is it? Just take a guess. Pick a number. Anytime. Any number.
You not hear me?
No, I can't hear you. I haven't heard you. Did he say it, Jake? Which number? Go ahead. I don't hear him. All right, well, the answer is 3. The answer was 3. That's how many in the Bush family have campaigned for the presidency. Oh, did we lose Mark? Is that what happened?
No, he's still here.
Oh, he's still there.
Bad connection.
All right, well, sorry about that, Mark. We got an awful connection. But congratulations, just for the fact that you're still there hanging on and clinging to hope there. You've got it. You got a PhD. We're going to give it to you. Jake is going to honor you today with a PhD. So stay there. We'll get you that PhD. And coming up, get ready, because I talked about this earlier in the morning. Why are the Democrats continuing to talk about the issue of mail-in voting? Why do they continue to talk about the post office? Why do we hear this day after day after day? Are they trying to provoke a constitutional crisis? David Rifkin Jr. is going to join us with this Wall Street Journal opinion piece that's going to open your eyes.
Is Daybreak 92.5 Fox News.
1 hour air conditioning and heating, always on time, or you don't pay a dime. Please visit us at www.onehourairnaples.com or call 844-1-HOUR.
Looking for a frameless shower door? My Shower Door has just opened their 8th Florida showroom, and it's conveniently located in Cape Coral. With more than 75,000 frameless shower doors installed, no one has more experience and 5-star reviews than My Shower Door. We've been named #1 by readers of the News Press and Naples News for 17 consecutive years and have just been named as Lee County's Manufacturer of the Year. Want to see more? Go to myshowerdoor.com.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I shopped the many highly rated term life insurance companies we represent, like Prudential and Mutual of Omaha, and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $27 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 800-589-5599. That's 800-589-5599. 800-589-5599. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at selectquote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
The power that crystal meth had over me is baffling. And the only option I was left with was I can die alone in this misery, or I could try to stop.
Visit our website at drugfree.org. A message from the Partnership for a Drug-Free America.
This is 92.5 Fox News.
92.5 WFSX Estero. It's 8 o'clock on Southwest Florida's news and talk station, 92.5 Fox News.
This Wink News Update is presented by CFS Roofing. Online at cfsroofing.com.
Now, this is a Wink News Update.
I'm Corey Lazar with Wink News. A 91-year-old Lee County woman injured after being aggressively handcuffed for running a stop sign. A deputy tried to pull the woman over. She didn't stop, assuming the flashing lights were for someone else. She says the deputy left her burned, bruised, and bloodied. That deputy is now being investigated while on paid administrative leave. Cincinnati Bengals cornerback Mackenzie Alexander, jailed for beating a man connected to the disappearance of his father, is now out of jail this morning. The Immokalee native is facing charges for punching that man, who was the last person to see Alexander's father before he went missing. On Monday, his father went berry picking in Okeechobee County, but never came back. Today, you have the chance to get a look at your students' COVID-conscious classrooms. Lee School administrators are running 4 tours of Paul Lawrence Dunbar Middle School. There's plastic at the front desk, spacing between student desk and one-way stairwells, and they're just some of the safety changes made for the pandemic. Today's tours will happen every 15 minutes, starting at 10 a.m. This morning, the man accused of killing 2 sisters will face a judge for the first time. 53-year-old Cesare Bartnicki of Naples is facing charges after a crash that killed Janet and Ann Wilson just months ago. He also faces a hit-and-run charge for leaving the state after getting out of the hospital. More good news for Florida in the fight against coronavirus. The state has now a 14-day streak reporting testing positivity rates lower than 10%. Yesterday's percentage was 5.72%, and that's another decrease from Tuesday's 7.49%. Multiple USF students are suspended this morning after throwing large parties. No one can live on campus or attend class until their student conduct cases have been resolved. The university has a zero-tolerance policy. I'm Corey Lazar, Wink News Now.
Wink News Traffic.
East and west on East Terry between Old 41 and US 41. The best way to navigate around this is Bonita Beach Road. There's a little delay in Collier County on Immokalee Road heading west to 951. Spanish Oaks is very busy heading east to Logan. If you want to avoid this delay, Immokalee Road looks great between the interstate and 951. Should only take you about 4 minutes. That's your up-to-the-minute traffic. I'm Sabrina Katz. Wink News now.
Wink Weather Authority.
For today, hot and humid as we will see our summertime round of pop-up, scattered rain and storms. Best opportunity for that is going to be this afternoon and this evening. Temps in the 90s with our heat index over 100. We rinse and we repeat for your Friday all the way into the weekend. Will not rain for all of your weekend, just a portion of it. We have the opportunity for some scattered storms. Temperatures in the 90s with typical August weather and summertime weather into next week, too. With Wink News, I'm meteorologist Matt Devitt, the Weather Authority.
Wink News at the top and bottom of the hour.
From 92.5 Fox News.
It's the stuff Southwest Florida is talking about.
It's Daybreak. Now, here's the guy at the epicenter of what's important to those of us who live in Southwest Florida. Drew Steele.
Well, good morning, Southwest Florida. Glad you're here at 239-479-5592, the Tri-Town Construction Talk and Text line, streaming live on YouTube at Drew Steele Radio, Steele with 3 E's. We appreciate you subscribing to the channel. Helps to keep us going there on both YouTube and Facebook. Waiting to get in touch with David Rifkin, who had this article in the Wall Street Journal, and Jake is in the process of getting him on the line with us right now. And I had to bring this up today. We will play audio from the RNC. We'll talk about that. Some people did want to talk about the fact that the Milwaukee Bucks decided not to play basketball yesterday, all due to what is happening in Kenosha, Wisconsin. And there are some more details that have come out about that. We'll get to all of those stories in just a minute. But I saw this story yesterday in the Wall Street Journal, and I can't believe it. Mail-in voting could deliver chaos. So David Rifkin is joining us right now. He is one of the authors of this article in the Wall Street Journal opinion piece, and I wanted to go through a couple of the points here to kind of get some clarity on this because it's quite shocking. It's Drew Steele. Good morning, sir. How are you today?
Great. Good to be with you.
So I'm concerned about this, what you have written about here in the Wall Street Journal opinion piece, because a couple of things have been discussed lately. Of course, the Democrats focusing on the mail-in voting issue, the post office, the things that could possibly happen. And in this article, you draw up some very important distinctions and points about what we might see well after Election Day. Can you talk a little bit about the important dates we have to remember, and then the Constitution and the power of Congress and what we may see?
Yes, the key problem, it's a very tight deadline. November 3rd is the date on which the election takes place, and it's this way nationwide. For example, that means that ballots that are received after November 3rd by mail that don't have a postage stamp would have to be discarded because there's no way of proving that they were sent on or before November 3rd. Mm-hmm. Another problem is that if you're going to have massive quantities of ballots by mail, given the problems we've seen emerge in the states already, particularly the ones that have not done this before, you're going to have protracted counting periods. You're going to have challenges over signatures and chads. I hope it reminds you of something in Florida's past. And the deadlines are very, very tight. Some of them are statutory. Some of them are actually hardwired in the Constitution. So the new president is inaugurated on January 20th. By statute, which Congress enacted pursuant to its constitutional authority, the safe harbor for certifying electoral slates from each state is December 8th. If that has not happened because of some contest, because people are still counting, there's litigation, the legislature has basically 4 days to clean it up to December 12th. If electoral slates are not chosen by December 12th, Electoral College that meets only 1 day, December 14th, would not be able to function in normal capacity. My concern that massive use of mail-in ballots would result in an Electoral College that is disabled, or at least perceived to be disabled, not operating with a full complement of electors. That creates a high likelihood that the Congress convenes next January 3rd, and provided it's still controlled by Democrats. But they will take the position that the Electoral College has not voted lawfully, properly, and the election will be thrown into Congress.
So just to be clear, Right. So just to be clear about all of this, the November 3rd date, of course, is when the election must take place. So the voting has to be done before that, either postmarked. We have to see it. We have to know that it exists. Then we have time afterwards where the concern would be that a state, let's just say, if you pick one at random, may have ballots that they consider to be in dispute, ones that don't have postmarks, ones that they claim came in at the last minute, but there's no way to tell. And then at which point you have
the ones they have not just processed. Look, to put it very crisply, 2, 3, 4 days, maybe even 5 days of post-November 3rd ballot counting is probably okay. 2 weeks is not.
Right. Right.
Okay? Maybe 10 days is not. It depends. But I mean, what we're talking about is tremendous likelihood that we would have the most contested election in American history, where the same type of litigation as happened in Florida in 2000 would take place in 10, 15 states. And you add to that current political polarization and violence, it is a prescription for a national nightmare.
Right. And especially, I guess, if I were to make just one quick observation before we go, which would be if this was projected out, if it continued to be a confusing situation where you would have individuals that would be investigating, let's say you would have the Department of Justice investigating, attorney generals, but people that would start to get involved at not only a state level, but also at a national level, then there would be confusion as to who possibly you would be listening to. One side would say, well, if Joe Biden won the election, quote unquote, then he should be the individual that would be the person that they should listen to with regard to this issue, or vice versa. Then there could be that confusion as to who to listen to. I mean, is that an outrageous statement to make, or is that something that ultimately...
It's not. Post January 20th, we're certainly going to be in that situation. Just leave one exciting note for your listeners.
Yeah.
One very real scenario is if Electoral College is disabled or perceived to be disabled, if a matter is thrown in the House, depending on the balance in the House on January 3rd, because the House under the 12th Amendment vote by delegation, so each state gets one vote.
Right.
Right now, Republicans have more delegations, 26, 24. If it's 25 on January 3rd, and the House decides not to follow what the Electoral College has done on December 14th, guess who becomes acting president?
Yeah, well, I think we know who that would be, the Speaker, right? Nancy Pelosi. Wow.
Yep.
This all is...
For 4 years.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, I when I read this, I couldn't believe it. I had to hear it from you directly. But it almost speaks to
the real concern.
Yeah.
Real concern.
Yeah, absolutely.
And very briefly, the folks on the other side who say count every ballot, you don't want to lose any votes. Look, the structure, the rigorous structure is essential for any election in a democracy. Just to say, well, gee, we don't care about the time, let's count everything. The final point, the irony is that trying to count an additional smidge of ballots actually runs the risk of disfranchising everybody who voted in that state.
Right.
Because, for example, if Florida is unable to send presidential electors by the 12th, then everybody who voted in Florida does not matter. Even if Florida is not able to select electors by December 8th, then it goes to Florida legislature. So, again, everybody who voted, their votes don't matter. So, it's to me, it's stupid demagoguery to say, well, let's count every vote. Because, look, if you take the position, let's count every vote, well, why do you even have any deadlines? Why not let people vote for 3 weeks?
Right, exactly.
And why not let people vote a month earlier and 2 months later?
Right, exactly. Yeah, such an important point. I know you have to run. I appreciate a few minutes of your time. David B. Rifkin Jr. joining us on Daybreak 92.5 Fox News. This Wall Street Journal opinion piece, I would encourage you to read this. Mail-in voting could deliver chaos. And I thank you so much for a few minutes of your time, sir. All the best.
Bye.
Let me go over this a little bit more as well, because this is something that now altogether begins to make a lot of sense. Sense in the way that you're trying to figure out, why are the Democrats so focused on every vote has to be counted, on mail-in voting, that that has to take place because we're in the middle of a pandemic. And just because you can go to a Starbucks and a Publix and you're able to go out and about doesn't mean you're able to stand in line at a polling place, which is absolutely outrageous. But they're making this point, and people have been like, why? Why would they do this? Let's remember a couple of points that are critical, and then I'm going to go over again this article to try to explain it in a little more detail as well. And it's this, that Democrats in this country do not want the Electoral College in place anymore, period, end discussion. Why? Because they want to have a majority of votes be the winner of the election. Of course they do. Because it is much easier for them owning places like California and New York, these population centers. It's much easier for them to continue to win election after election after election into the future when they know the popular vote, they have a better chance of winning than any other way. And that other way would be the Electoral College, the one place where they would like to show there to be a problem, to David Rifkin's point, to try to create this constitutional crisis because of the Electoral College. Not in spite of it. It's not that situation. So like he was explaining, and I'll read from the article again from the Wall Street Journal piece to try to explain this a little more. You've got 3 critical dates to remember. November 3rd, the presidential election must take place that day. The electors chosen on that day have to vote on December 14th to select the new president and vice president. They can't be changed. You can't change those dates without an act of Congress. It's not going to happen. And inauguration has to happen on January 20th. These are dates that are concrete right now. They're not going to change. They can be changed in the future, but they can't be changed now. Article 2 of the Constitution gives Congress the power to, quote, determine the time of choosing the electors and the day of which they shall give their votes, which day shall be the same throughout the United States. That's what we just discussed, those specific dates. They made those dates, and we know what they are. The electors of president and vice president shall be appointed in each state on the Tuesday next after the first Monday in November. That is November 3rd. Electoral College must meet and vote on the first Monday after the second Wednesday in December. That's December 14th this year. The Supreme Court held in Foster v. Love in 1997, taken together, the relevant constitutional and statutory provisions mandate, quote, holding all elections for Congress and the presidency on a single day throughout the Union. So you see that these dates are concrete. But what David was trying to communicate is that there's a window, a 6-week window during which the electors must be chosen and certified, leaving little time for errors or challenges to the results. You're going to flood certain areas of the country because every vote has to be counted. We can't disenfranchise people. We found that there are votes that are someplace in the back of a trunk of a car or whatever the case may be. All of them have to be counted. Of course, you're going to see issues where the postmarks aren't there, or you're just told that they were dropped off at the right moment in time, just before November 3rd, 11:59 p.m. But you can't be sure, in which there would be litigation going back and forth to kind of stall, because something has to happen where it would make it now difficult or impossible for some states to meet that deadline. Remember, the deadline is December 14th. That has to be the date, even without challenges to the results, which are certain this year if the election's close. And you have this safe harbor, as he was talking about, these days from December 8th to the 14th to determine how the electors are to be selected or forfeit its electoral votes. What does that mean? That means that, I know this sounds crazy, all of this sounds nuts, but because he wrote about this in the Wall Street Journal, this is something that many people have recognized and are saying, we got some flags up here. We want you to recognize this. If there's a dispute going on up until that December 14th date, there's a possibility that a state may forfeit its electoral votes. In other words, pick a state at random, the state of Florida. I don't know, let's call it the state of Florida, where because of the disputes and because nobody knows and because the electors have not been selected, we don't know what's going on, that the votes from the state of Florida could be gone because we haven't had a chance to have everybody's vote counted. And so those electoral college votes would be gone. How does that change things? That's the point. That if enough confusion is thrown into the process, if there's enough confusion, even through the safe harbor dates, knowing that November 3rd, that's it, everybody, and up until December 14th, you have an opportunity to figure out there's going to be litigation a couple of days, maybe things come in a couple of days, but what about a couple of weeks? And then there are those on the left that say, no, every vote has to be counted. Come on now, you can't disenfranchise these people. What if they came? And they're going to give you every answer and every excuse, leading up to a moment in time where a concrete date, December 14th, has to take place to determine how electors are to be selected, or you forfeit the state's electoral votes. We can assume no state would want its electoral votes to go uncast. As a result, there's only a very short window for mail-in ballots to be received and counted. State actions and litigation, which are already being pursued with gusto, establishing an overlong period for counting such ballots, will endanger a state's electoral votes, impeding the Constitution and federal election statutes. At best, the results would be electors chosen by state legislatures. At worst, states would be disenfranchised in the Electoral College or send rival slates of electors to vote on December 14th, leading to a bitter dispute in Congress over which votes to recognize. In other words, with all the confusion, there may be Democrats and Republicans sending rival slates of electors, others, to come into the state to argue that, well, this isn't going to work, to create such chaos now that it has to go to Congress. And to David's point, who do you think is going to decide ultimately who that president is going to be? And in a constitutional crisis, would you like to guess who that individual will be for the next 4 years? Nancy Pelosi? Because you can't have one or the other. I'm saying all of this because there has to be a method to all of this madness that is out there about the post office and going after the postmaster general and about the president trying to make sure that your vote isn't counted, and disenfranchisement and how we have to count every vote and people can't go to a polling place because it's not safe and they have to mail in. Do you see what's happening and what's being set up? And again, the bottom line is this. One of America's greatest constitutional imperatives is the smooth and timely transition of power from one duly elected president to the next. That is now in doubt, not because of the absurd notion that the president will refuse to leave office on January 20th if the voters reject him on November 3rd, but because the push for mail-in voting may overload the system, make an orderly election impossible. What better way for Democrats to get what they want, to get rid of the Electoral College and to go to a popular vote and have that demand for a popular vote in the future at the least, and someone who is not going to be a duly elected president at the worst, than to make it seem as if something that is in the bedrock, in the heart of our Constitution and the Electoral College, to say that it is failed. And it hasn't. It hasn't failed. It's only showing up this way because of what the left and what the Democrats are trying to do to make it look as if it's not working, when actually it always has. And what better way to get rid of it than to make it look as if it doesn't function anymore? And why not go to a popular vote? It is crazy. It sounds conspiratorial, but does Russia collusion hoax sound crazy anymore? Does the idea that a president would use and would weaponize the federal government against an American citizen sound crazy to you anymore? I'm just putting it out there. It is absolutely unbelievable. And again, it's a Wall Street Journal opinion piece. It's called Mail-in Voting Could Deliver Chaos. And I would encourage you, if you can, to absolutely read this and study this, because you may need to know it's coming as it's starting to hit and that we recognize it. All right, it's Daybreak 92.5 Fox News. Again, want to encourage you to text the letters RNC to 239-479-5592. because coming up this morning at 10 a.m., we are going to do a Zoom meeting. We're going to get at least 100 people. We hope to have 100 people in the Zoom meeting, and we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. We're going to do it together, and we're going to do it right, and we're going to be led by 2 World War II veterans. How about that? We'd love for you to join us. All right, it's Daybreak 92.5, Fox News, right all along.
East and west on East Terry between Old 41 and US 41. The best way to navigate around this is Bonita Beach Road. There's a little delay in Collier County on Immokalee Road heading west to 951. Spanish Oaks is very busy heading east to Logan. If you want to avoid this delay, Immokalee Road looks great between the interstate and 951. Should only take you about 4 minutes. That's your up-to-the-minute traffic. I'm Sabrina Katz. Wink News now.
Wink Weather Authority.
Stay cool this afternoon, 93 degrees, heat index over 100 as we will see afternoon and evening pop-up scattered rain and storms to try to cool you down. With Wink News, I'm meteorologist Matt Devitt, Weather Authority.
Wink News at the top and bottom of the hour.
Blah, 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 blah. Gear up for the liberal loudmouths at work. Drew Steele, mornings on 92.5 Fox News.
At Fisher Investments, we do things differently, and other money managers don't understand why.
Because our way works great for us.
But it may not work for your clients. That's why Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, obligated to put clients first. It's the highest standard for a financial advisor.
So, what do you provide? Cookie-cutter portfolios like the rest of us?
No cookie-cutter portfolios here. Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to meet each client's goals and needs.
But you do sell investments that earn you high commissions, right? And make commissions when you make trades for your clients?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission investment products, and we never earn commissions on trades.
So what's in it for you?
Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when our clients do better. When it comes to helping clients achieve a comfortable retirement, we're clearly different. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Summer is in full swing, and my friends Jason and Todd with the Diamond District are continuing to liquidate the largest selection of GIA and Forevermark loose certified diamonds, engagement rings, and fashionable diamond jewelry.
I'm Harvey Massey. Think about this for a moment. Pest control involves applying pesticides inside your home, whether needed or not. At Massey Services, we just don't do that. We prevent pests from getting inside your home so we won't have to control them later. Why settle for pest control when you can trust Massey's pest prevention? It's guaranteed or your money back. Massey Services. Expect more and get it.
Home is truly where the heart is. To protect it, you need top quality roofing installed by experts. That's why we chose CFS Roofing Services. Now my home's weather tight and beautifully resilient.
New roof leak from old Hurricane Irma damage? Insurance claim deadline is September 9th. Call CFS now for a free roof analysis. 561-2600 or cfsroofing.com. I'm David Crowther, and I approve this message.
Summer seems even brighter when you've been inside a while. It's time to drive again with Honda, KBB.com's 2020 Best Value brand. You could get a great deal on the 2020 Accord or 2020 Civic with financing as low as 1.9% APR on select models. Visit the Honda Summer Clearance event today.
See your Southwest Florida Honda dealers or log on southwestfloridahondadealers.com.
For well-qualified buyers, see dealer for financing details based on 2020 brand image source from Kelly Blue Book. Visit KBB.com for more information.
The team at Best Home Services understands that this is a time of much uncertainty and much unknown. With this uncertainty comes feelings of fear and panic. Please know that we are here for you today, tomorrow, and into the future as we move forward together, safely and comfortably. We are all in this together, and as stewards of our community, we promise to continue to provide you the services needed to keep you and your family safe. You are not alone. Best Home Services, our family protecting your family.
Listen up, men. I know you don't want to talk about ED. It's not going to go away, so stop ignoring it. Good news for all of us. Metro Men's Health makes getting the treatment you need easy, pain-free, drug-free, and affordable. While many places use pills or injections to treat ED, that's just a temporary fix and ruins that special moment. And while testosterone treatments can boost your energy, they don't fix ED. Metro Men's Health takes a different approach. They use the most state-of-the-art technologies and treatments that improves blood flow, which is really the source of the problem. There's no discomfort, and Metro Men's Health treatments don't just mask symptoms. They treat the condition. No painful shots, no hormones, no pills, just an easy and convenient treatment that actually works. If you don't see improvement, they'll give you a full refund. You've got nothing to lose and a lot to gain. Put that spark back in your life. Call 239-599-9900 to schedule a free consultation. That's 239-599-9900 or visit metromenshealth.com. Metro.
True relief for back and neck pain.
At Johnston Spinal Care 596 Back, if you're suffering with a spinal-related problem, pain, numbness, or weakness, through the use of spinal decompression therapy, we've helped hundreds and hundreds of local residents return to a pain-free, productive life. People who once suffered from stenosis, sciatica, bulging, or herniated discs and thought there was no solution are now living pain-free. Spinal decompression is relaxing and painless, while it gently eases pressure off painful nerves and spinal discs. No pain, no needles, and no surgery. I've successfully been using spinal decompression in Southwest Florida for over 13 years, and the results are only getting better. Take your life back. Call our Medicare-friendly office today for a free telephone consultation to find out how spinal decompression can help you. Johnston Spinal Care, 596 Back, 596-2225. That's 596-2225.
Hey, it's True Steel, and we've got my friend Dave Meister, owner of the Floor Meisters in Naples, on the phone. And Dave, I got to tell you, the selection of floor coverings of Floor Meisters, unbelievable, fantastic. I've seen it myself, and the choices are there. But what we really want to talk about today is this Dreamweaver line of carpets. Talk about it.
I'll tell you what, Drew, this is the hottest thing since 5-buckle overshoes. We're just selling the heck out of it. Comes in 9 different patterns, 12 colors to a pattern. It has 8 warranties, and it even includes steps. The stain warranty will take care of wine, mud, and even pet accidents. So this is perfect for Jake.
Yeah, perfect for Jake, and perfect for me, and perfect for you, too. If you haven't been to the Floor Meisters, really owe it to yourself to visit their store, see their selection of Dreamweaver carpets. It's there at 6281 Naples Boulevard, next to Costco. And whether it's carpet, tile, laminate, or hardwood flooring, they have it all. So give them a call today at 239-596-4964 or on the web at floormeisters.com.
If you're far from water, you might think a flood can't happen to you. But the truth is, there are hidden risks that can leave your property vulnerable, like runoff from new development, changing weather patterns, and even wildfires. But if you have flood insurance, you have peace of mind, knowing that you can recover faster. Protect the life you've built. Visit floodsmart.gov/storm to learn more. Brought to you by FEMA and its National Flood Insurance Program.
For over 20 years, the Good Feet store has been helping people with foot pain get back to doing what they love without their feet getting in the way. Call 552-FEET or visit us at the Good Feet store in Naples or our newest location in Fort Myers.
Home is truly where the heart is. To protect it, you need top quality roofing installed by experts. That's why we chose CFS Roofing Services. Now my home's weather-tight and beautifully resilient.
New roof leak from old Hurricane Irma damage? Insurance claim deadline is September 9th. Call CFS now for a free roof analysis. 561-2600 or cfsroofing.com. I'm David Crowther, and I approve this message.
This Wink News Update is presented by Stevie Tomato's Sports Page in Fort Myers, Cape Coral, and Naples.
Now, this is a Wink News Update.
I'm Corey Lazar with Wink News. A 91-year-old Lee County woman injured after being aggressively handcuffed for running a stop sign. A deputy tried to pull the woman over. She didn't stop, assuming the flashing lights were for someone else. She says the deputy left her burned, bruised, and bloodied. That deputy is now being investigated while on paid administrative leave. Cincinnati Bengals cornerback Mackenzie Alexander, jailed for beating a man connected to the disappearance of his father, is now out of jail this morning. The Immokalee native is facing charges for punching that man, who was the last person to see Alexander Alexander's father before he went missing. On Monday, his father went berry picking in Okeechobee County, but never came back. Today, you have the chance to get a look at your students' COVID-conscious classrooms. Lee school administrators are running 4 tours of Paul Lawrence Dunbar Middle School. There's plastic at the front desk, spacing between student desk and one-way stairwells, and they're just some of the safety changes made for the pandemic. Today's tours will happen every 15 minutes, starting at 10 a.m. This morning, the man accused of killing 2 sisters will face a judge for the first time. 53-year-old Cesare Bartnicki of Naples is facing charges after a crash that killed Janet and Ann Wilson just months ago. He also faces a hit-and-run charge for leaving the state after getting out of the hospital. More good news for Florida in the fight against coronavirus. The state has now a 14-day streak reporting testing positivity rates lower than 10%. Yesterday's percentage was 5.72%, and that's another decrease from Tuesday's 7.49%. Multiple USF students are suspended this morning after throwing large parties. No one can live on campus or attend class until their student conduct cases have been resolved. The university has a zero-tolerance policy. I'm Corey Lazar, Wink News Now.
Wink News traffic.
Looking at my traffic can, still very busy on Daniels Parkway heading west to I-75. Keep that in mind coming out of Gateway as well as Lehigh Acres. Also delays in Lehigh southbound on Gunnery heading to 23rd. There's slow traffic in North Fort Myers on Pondella heading west of Business 41 to US 41, and just a slight slowdown on that Edison Bridge approaching Pondella Road. That's your up-to-the-minute traffic. I'm Sabrina Katz. Wink News Now.
Wink Weather Authority.
For today, hot and humid as we will see our summertime round of pop-up scattered rain and storms. Best opportunity for that is going to be this afternoon and this evening. Temps in the 90s with our heat index over 100. We rinse and we repeat for your Friday all the way into the weekend. Will not rain for all of your weekend, just a portion of it. We have the opportunity for some scattered storms. Temperatures in the 90s with typical August weather and summertime weather into next week, too. With Wink News, I'm meteorologist Matt Devitt, the Weather Authority.
Wink News at the top and bottom of the hour.
Drive the lefties at work crazy with the facts. Get up to speed mornings with Drew Stevens.
92.5 Fox News. Right all along.
Hi, it's Big Al from Stevie Tomato's sports page. These are stressful times. There's turmoil all around us, from our personal concerns about health, family, and finances to our feelings about those who trash this great country, its traditions, its protectors, and its flag. I want to scream and make my voice heard, but instead I'm part of the silent majority, those who are dependable, caring, fair-minded, fiercely patriotic, and who every day help to make America great. Stevie honors the silent majority every day by serving our award-winning food and beverages. Relieve today's stress during our happy hour with a great meal. Choose full at the bone ribs or the best burgers in town, great pizza and more. Most of all, sit down, relax, eat, and drink with others of the silent majority. Stevie honors this great country, its traditions, and the sacrifices made by all those before us and today. Our servicemen, our policemen, our firemen, and doctors, nurses, homemakers, and all others of the silent majority. God bless you, and God bless America, and most importantly, vote. Stevie Tomatoes, Naples, Fort Myers, and Cape Coral.
Trust. It's the rock-solid foundation of Moran Wealth Management. Over 40 years ago, they began advising clients on ways to help meet their financial goals. 4 decades later, we've helped many reach their goals of providing for themselves, their families, and future generations. CEO Tom Moran has assembled an impressive team of professionals, each committed to the same core concept. Tom is recognized by Barron's as a Hall of Fame advisor. To be named a Hall of Fame advisor, the advisor has to have been ranked by Barron's consecutively for the last 10 years in any of their rankings. Let us earn your trust. Call 239-920-4440 or visit moranwm.com. Barron's rankings are based on data provided by thousands of advisors. Factors included in the rankings were assets under management, revenue produced for the firm, regulatory record, length of service, quality of practice, and client retention. Investment products and services are offered through Wells Fargo Advisors Financial Network, LLC, WFAFN, member SIPC. Moran Wealth Management is a separate entity from WFAFN.
This is 92.5 Fox News.
All right, it's Daybreak 92.5 Fox News. 239-479-5592 is the text line. Streaming live on YouTube anytime you want to watch at Drew Steele Radio, Steele with 3 E's. Please subscribe while you're there if you enjoy watching on Facebook or YouTube. It's how we keep it going. And again, it's free to subscribe. So while you're there, please do that. We appreciate it. We're keeping an eye on Hurricane Laura now. Category 2 still making its way through the areas of Louisiana, the landfall at Cameron, Louisiana, making its way across Lake Charles and through right now, and even Matt Devitt making notice of the fact just a few minutes ago that Southwest Florida can relate to what Louisiana got hit by, almost identical intensity to Charlie in 2004. But Laura, even bigger than what we got hit with. So we keep an eye on the weather there and watching that story as it continues throughout the day. We will have more, but first, right now, top 5 audio clips of the day. It's the 5 at 8:35.
Drew's Top 5 at 8:35 is brought to you by Moran Wealth Management. Isn't it time to review your portfolio options? Go to moranwm.com.
Drew's 5 at 8:35.
Number 5.
In Las Vegas, Independent Line. Hi, Chuck.
Hi, how are you?
How are you?
Yeah, I thought that the vice president's speech was very good. I mean, America, to me, is freedom of speech is the biggest one that the Democrats have just lost me on. They've been attacking it. They keep preaching that they're the party of love and tolerance, but you got to read the fine print. That's only if you believe as they do.
Wow. There was a lot of that yesterday as C-SPAN opened up their phone lines to Republicans, Democrats, Independents after the RNC speeches in the past few days, and there has been a consistent sign here, phone calls coming in that continue to show that independents as well as Democrats are saying, listen, I want to vote for the president of the United States. I want to vote for the Republican Party right now because I see what is happening, and they are making a compelling message and giving a compelling message in support of America. We are hearing that more and more.
Number 4.
Christine, Laura, what you're seeing behind me is one of multiple locations that have been burning in Kenosha, Wisconsin over the course of the night. A second night since Jacob Blake was seen shot in the back 7 times by a police officer. And what you are seeing now, these images came and come in stark contrast to what we saw over the course of the daytime hours in Kenosha and into the early evening, which were largely peaceful demonstrations in the face of law enforcement. It wasn't until night fell that things began to get a little bit more contentious. Things were thrown back and forth. Police started using some of those crowd dispersal tactics like tear gas, even playing very loud sounds to push them out. And then what you are seeing, the common theme that ties all of this together, is an expression of anger and frustration over what people feel like has become an all too familiar story playing out in places from across the country, not just here in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Did that really just happen? Yeah, it happened last night. A reporter for CNN with a burning building behind him with all kinds of chaos around him is standing there trying to tell everybody, mostly peaceful protests, everybody. That's what's happening, mostly peaceful protests. And what's going on is the expression of anger and frustration that happens later in the evening. And while the video behind him that is being shown as well is of individuals, of anarchists, of rioters, pelting police officers with anything that they can find. They're showing the video as he's describing it, but no, nothing to see here. Everything is peaceful. It is surreal the way that the media is reporting what is happening in cities around the country. It is unbelievable. People are onto it.
Number 3.
What we found out in the last 6 months is the reason we have an issue with broad cooperation on masking is leadership and messaging from the very top. And so this is just symptomatic of a larger problem here, which is saying one thing but doing another. The president has tacitly accepted masking on some level, but then convenes rallies, political rallies where no one's masking. Last night, people were hooting and hollering and cheering with no masks. We know that that is a spreader type event.
Can I just stop for a second? That is CNN once again. And just to let you know what that was all about. CNN said, all right, we got to have a doctor on to talk about the super spreader situation that happened at the speech by Melania Trump at the RNC. No, I'm not kidding. Calling it a super spreader event. They're not doing right by the American people by putting on events like this. Saying that there were separation there while Melania was making her speech. The First Lady was making the speech at the RNC. That taking precautions, I'm sure every person was checked before they showed up, of course. But no. The issue is Melania Trump and the RNC and a super spreader event, but no mention of what's going on in Kenosha, Wisconsin. No mention of what's happened in major metropolitan cities like Seattle and Oakland and other places that are happening right. No. They're not shouting and spitting and doing anything. They're not nothing to see here. Everything's fine there. Move along.
Number 2.
The American idea my ancestors fought for during the Revolutionary War is just as exciting and revolutionary today as it was 250 years ago. I say to Americans who love our country, young and old, be a radical for freedom. Be a radical for liberty. And be a radical for our republic, for which I stand, one nation under God, with liberty and justice for all.
For which he stands. That is Madison Cawthorn, 25 years of age, could possibly be the next congressman from North Carolina, was left paralyzed from the waist down after a car accident when he was 18, and campaigns on the idea that overcoming his personal tragedy makes him better fit to represent his fellow Americans is what he's been talking about. Took the moment of time there in his speech at the RNC to literally, and I use that word now properly, literally stand, push himself up and stand to be a radical for liberty, a radical for the republic, a radical for both, for which he stands. It was a very incredible, powerful moment from the RNC last night.
Number 1.
Last week, Joe Biden didn't say one word about the violence and chaos engulfing cities across this country. So let me be clear. The violence must stop, whether in Minneapolis, Portland, or Kenosha. Too many heroes have died defending our freedom to see Americans strike each other down. We will have law and order on the streets of this country for every American of every race and creed and color.
Another powerful moment there from the Vice President of the United States speaking at the RNC yesterday.
Drew's 5 at 8:35.
And what is wrong with what he said? Is there a suggestion that there are some that are in communities around the country that don't like law and order, that don't want it in their community? Who would that be? Who is it? Show us who it is, Democrats. Show us who it is in communities around the country that do not want law and order in their communities. Any community. Pick one. Pick one single community and tell us, in this community, we don't want law and order. We don't want it. Really? You know it's not true. You know everybody wants it. And yet they still see in Democrat-led cities across the country that they don't get it. That they will allow for the anarchy and the looting and the rioting to continue to take place, and they don't stop it. It takes the president and federal law enforcement to come in to quell the violence that is happening in some of these cities, including in places like Kenosha, where, listen, we can talk all day with those that want to loot and riot or try to at least communicate in these cities. But the fact of the matter is that they have decided to take law and order and justice into their own hands as opposed to allowing a process to take place. I did not talk about the Jacob Blake shooting in Kenosha in great detail right away or even in the past few days because I choose to allow the process to play out, to find out more about what happened in that city. And as we come to find out more and more about the details, we find out that things are not exactly how they have been described. Many people have taken to Twitter to describe this. Matt Walsh is one person who's been on this program before. Matt Walsh, who you know probably well from The Blaze. And Matt Walsh Cops came to arrest a man wanted for domestic abuse and sexual assault because he was terrorizing a woman and then was shot when he tried to pull a knife on the officers. There's no controversy here, nothing to debate. He is a bad guy. Everything is his fault. Now, you may argue with the last part. You may argue with how far police went to stop this individual. But the least that you can do is to understand now some of the details that we come to find out. The police were called to the house for a domestic violence problem. Some of the most dangerous calls police have to answer are domestic violence issues. Blake, despite the pictures of him hugging some of his 6 children, this was described in the American Thinker in an article, was not a nice man, a criminal record. A man matching his name, address, and age, record showing warrants against him for domestic abuse, sexual assault of a minor, and been arrested in the past for waving around a gun, resisting arrest in the past, injuring a police officer. We know that he was tased unsuccessfully, that he had a knife. There are details that we know about. The issue is whether or not we are hearing all of that explicitly, every detail of everything that has taken place when there is an officer-involved shooting in this country. When we have basketball players who are saying that they can't play. Milwaukee Bucks, not going to play the Orlando Magic in the bubble there in Orlando. They're going to cancel it because they want to focus on racial injustice. Could this be the beginning of what will be the end of the seasons in the NBA and other places as well? Because how do you continue playing now? If one team is going to drop out for this, don't you have to join in? Some would ask. There was a reporter from ESPN, Adrian Wojnarowski, who said that emotions have been raw for days. Players were already worn out of the bubble environment prior to the shooting, and sources say discussions within teams are ongoing about postponing 3 days as well beyond, and the season's in jeopardy. They haven't exactly been happy with what has been happening within the bubble, and then add to this, and the real question becomes ultimately whether or not we have a party in the Democrat Party that believes in American exceptionalism and believes in the promise of this country as founded in our constitutional republic, or whether they do not, and whether they will look the other way when it comes to rioting and looting and anarchy, because it doesn't play well for them politically, that if there was some way they could use it politically, they would. And the way that they can get out of it now is what? How do you spin out of it? The commitments that they've made to anarchists, to Marxists, how do you spin out of that? And so that is going to be a big question for the remainder of, well, these months to come leading up to the election, and how they will be able to spin their way out of what we see this week. And I'm sure we're going to hear tonight from the president, and the hope and promise that he will deliver, that he certainly has delivered before the pandemic, and Democrats know it. All right, before we go today, want to encourage you, in just about a little more than an hour from now, we will be in studio with 2 World War II veterans. And we are encouraging you to join us as we say the Pledge of Allegiance together. We will be led by these World War II veterans. I would love for you to be a part of this Zoom meeting. If you would like to be part of the Zoom Pledge of Allegiance that we will do in just about an hour from now, it's simple. All you have to do is text the letters RNC to 239-479-5592. If you do that right now, you'll get an invitation. And then at 10 a.m., get ready to join us in just a little while, because we're going to do this right. We're going to do it together. We're going to do it right. All right, it's Daybreak 92.5, Fox News, right all along. And let's find out how the remainder of the forecast is shaping up with Wink News meteorologist Matt Devitt.
93 degrees, hot and humid.